The following podcast contains naughty language and ridiculous situations. Listener discretion is advised.
They say you could never go home again. Or is it that you can always go home again? I don't know, I forget. But one person who is never going home again is Simon Pegg, starring in a little UK television show called Spaced, along with his soon-to-be constant buddy Nick Frost, as well as Edgar Wright directing. The show was a massive hit during its brief runtime, well worth a watch if you've never seen it. But this isn't the home I'm referring to. 4 years ago, after Space got aced, our trio got together to pay homage to George Romero's Dawn of the Dead, with the inventively titled Shaun of the Dead. Peg playing the titular Shaun, he and his best bud Ed fight a horde of zombies along the streets of London. A huge hit that cemented Peg, Frost, and Wright as, for the time, the newest batch to give us horror fans exactly what we've been craving. Good storytelling with a surprisingly good comedy. Peg has been approached about a sequel to Shaun, and his answer was the correct answer. In short, it's best to be left alone. This is a quote. It's best to be left alone. The definitive answer is no, unquote. Naturally, you can sequelize a film like this. It's so refreshing that it's not. Not everything needs a sequel, and the film ends on a perfect note anyway. Edgar Wright agrees. He said that he feels like he's done all he's wanted to do in the horror comedy subgenre, and that's just fine with me. And if you're one of those people who disagree, let me give you a nickel's worth of free advice. Go to the Winchester, have a nice cold pint, and wait for all this to blow over. And welcome to Trick or Treat Radio.
Welcome to the 669th episode of Trick or Treat Radio. Trick or Treat Radio is a stake through the heart of horror and pop culture. We wade through the piranha-infested waters of streaming VOD and cult cinema in an attempt to find hidden gems to discuss so you can make informed viewing decisions. You can expect reflections, reactions, and other mayhem tied to the themes of the films we discuss. Episodes are streamed live every Thursday night at 8 p.m. on trickortreatradio.com, and the audio podcast is released on all podcast platforms Friday morning. Your hosts for the show are Monster Zero.
Hello.
Michael Smokin' Raven Shadow.
How you doing?
And I am Johnny Wolfenstein, and this week we'll be discussing the film Dead Male. It is an 80s movie about, I don't even know how to, I mean, it is about dead male, but it's also about someone who's attempting to make an analog synth and to kind of corner the market on that. It was really interesting. I had no idea it was going there, but yeah. So we'll talk all about that flick in a little bit. But before we get there, I don't know. We're gonna shoot the shit a little bit. MZ's got some stuff cooked up for the intro here, and Raven Shadow's going away. See ya.
For the seventh time. Well, what I'd like to do first is I'd like to hit the coffin corner.
Oh no.
Yeah. Well, there's a pair of that have joined the list this week. And of course, we all know George Wendt, best known as Norm from Cheers, the long-running TV show from the 80s. Passed away. He was 76 years old. But the man also had a rather sizable horror resume attached to him.
Yeah, it's true.
Now, if you just give me a moment here, I'll find it.
Well, I know he was in House.
He was in House. Let's see. He was in Dreamscape.
Oh,
Yeah. He was in Dreamscape, and he was also in. He did one of the Masters of Horror
Yo,
episodes.
he was in the one that I keep talking about. I think he was in that B one, where like
B
all
one.
the male males would go like bees were dying, and then I think like the males were going crazy. Like all men were going nuts if they see a woman, they go fucking cannibal or crazy
Oh,
and shit.
maybe.
He was in Fletch. He was in Fletch.
Let's see. Yeah, he did horror. He did House, Dreamscape, Masters of Horror episode of Family. He was in VFW. He was in King of the Ants. Bliss, Brian Loves You, Jekyll and Hyde Together Again. These are films that are all on Tubi. So yeah, check that out. You know, it's a shame, but you know, hey, I feel like 76 is too short, and I don't know if that's because I'm getting closer to 76. Yeah, I'm sure that plays a part in it somewhere. I would not be surprised, you know. But yeah, it's a shame, you know, and everyone says he was a consummate actor. The bar in which Cheers was based on, called the Bullfinch in Boston. They set up a mural for, not a mural, but a memorial for him in Cheers. They left him with a empty seat and a big mug of beer. So yeah, that was a shame. That was a shame. You know, what are you gonna do? But you know, but he was more than just that. He did a lot of stuff. A lot of acting. You know, he did a lot of theater work. But yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah,
It's a shame.
definitely.
I liked him. You know, and of course Norm. You know, one of my favorite scenes from that show, and it had nothing to do with him drinking. It was it it had to do with him, Cliff, Sam, and Woody. I think that's what it was. They were all playing Monopoly, but they lost the dice. So they ended up using dice that was hanging off somebody's rearview mirror. And you could see them just rolling the dice on the Monopoly board. And the Monopoly board's only so big, but the dice are like this big around, you know? So they're just tossing it like that. You know?
Yeah.
It's a silly thing, but I got the biggest kick out of that.
I love
It's
the
stupid,
episode.
I know, but it's funny to me.
I love the one where him and like Cliff go to the bathroom and they come back and there's like a yuppie couple at their stools.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
and he's like, "Hey, I'm Norm. You know, this is where I sit. Like, but there was no one here when we sat down. But I sat here yesterday." And like Norm's having, like he's having an anxiety attack, and Cliff is all
Yep.
fucking worried.
It's funny.
Yeah.
I remember that show being on. Like, you know, I think my parents might have watched it, but I don't really remember much about it. You know, like I know it was on a lot, but I just don't really remember all that much. I never really saw it in reruns. But
No, it's a funny show. You know, when you look back on it, it really feels sort of, you know, when you look at it, not never mind about the comedy or the acting or anything like that, but just the look of it. It's very, very drab. There's an awful lot of brown going on in that show.
Oh yeah.
An awful lot of brown, and nothing brings a show down more than the color brown. Okay.
going down to Brown Town.
The wood paneling, the wood bar, the wood floor, the wood beams,
Well,
the wood this, the wood that.
It's such a product of its time.
Yeah, and you wouldn't really notice it when you're watching it when it came on the air, but looking back on it now in retrospect, It's really a drab-looking show, but it's funny. It is funny. I might be streaming somewhere. I wouldn't be surprised if it is. But anyway, yeah. So cheers to
Cheers to cheers.
cheers to George Wendt, who came and went.
Jesus Christ.
And another one is more rooted in horror, but was never a celebrity, but became very in one of the most influential films ever made. I'm talking about Ella Mae Smith. Now I know you don't know, and Raven Shadow left again. Now I know you don't know who Ella Mae Smith is, and up until just recently, I didn't know who she was either. And when I mean recently, I'd say about maybe 2 months ago. I've seen the name before, but I never really gave it much thought. Ella Mae Smith played one of the original ghouls, quote unquote, in the original Night of the Living Dead. She just passed away yesterday, I think it was, yesterday at the age of 93. And Sean Clark and his Horrors Hallowed Grounds, his show that he does on YouTube, Horrors Hallowed Grounds by Sean Clark. He was just there. He just did a show with her like 2 months ago and visited her house, and she was very receptive and very nice, very kind, very sweet, and has great memories of working with George and playing a ghoul and being in one of the most influential, not horror films, but just films of all time. And very sweet. And she lived in Evans City, Pennsylvania, all her life. She lived in the same house basically for 60 years. And yeah, she passed away. And I always say, she might have played a small, minuscule part, but if you're in a horror film, you become one of us, and she's one of us. And she has, again, I said she has very fond memories of working on the set. This was her only role that she ever did, and she could be pointed out in the film as well. She's in there. She points herself out. Actually, there's a picture of her holding up a picture of the scene in which she's in. But she would sign autographs. She would talk to people. She was very, very forthcoming with anything that anybody wanted to know about filming Night of the Living Dead. And but you know what? 93 is a good run. It's a damn good run. It's it might be too long for me, man. I want
yeah.
The sooner the better. But
can I get the check, please? I'm gonna wrap up this whole life thing.
But yeah, so
what was her name again, MZ? I'm sorry. What?
Ella Mae Smith.
Oh, okay.
Mae as in M-A-E.
Oh, rest in peace, Ella Mae. Sounds like I'm doing the alphabet. L-M-N-O-P.
Rest in peace, A-E-I-O-U.
That's
U-R-S-T.
Yeah.
U-V-W-X-Y-Z. Now I know my ABCs.
Next time, won't you sing with me?
Die with me.
Jerk me off. I don't know.
Oh.
Whoa.
Wow. Okay. Now we know where MZ's head's at.
Yeah. It ain't gonna do it itself, So
yeah, not anymore.
Mind control jerk off? That's crazy. Telekinetic jerk off. All my animals are fucking screaming right now. It's fucking. I feel like Ace Ventura right now. You guys know what's going on over here.
What, MZ? What were you
So-
saying?
Oh, I forget.
All right. Well, rest in peace to George Wendt and LMA Smith.
Yes.
Any others? Or is that it?
That's it.
All right, good. What else you got for us?
Well, if you want me to continue on, I got this day in horror history.
Let's do it. Let's keep it
All right.
rolling.
All right. This day in horror history, May 22nd is the date. Oh, and by the way, happy Goth Day. Today is Goth Day, so to all the wonderful goths out there, happy Goth Day to you. All right. Very short list on May 22nd as far as films being released are concerned. Svengali, released in 1931. Violent Midnight, aka Psychomania, was released in 1963, and we reviewed that a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
That was back in the Tiny White days.
Yeah. First year.
Yeah. Outland in 1981. Boa versus Python in 2004. Alien 3 in 1992. If you can believe that. Jeez.
Yeah.
That is such a misunderstood film. I think it's good.
Yeah, that's an interesting
do.
one.
It is interesting, and of course, it'll never, no matter what you did after that, it's not going to meet the standards of what Aliens was.
Right.
Aliens
Well, I
was
think
ridiculous.
what the problem was was that it blew up Aliens in the first 5 minutes. Like
Yeah, it did.
you know what I mean? And so you like as an audience, like it actually it betrays the audience. Now, yes, it's one of Finch's first films. Great premise, and definitely deserved another look. But as a fan, being a hyper mark for Aliens, so you kill off Reese and Newt off
Yeah.
camera. Fuck you. You know what I mean? If I don't know, that was a detriment to me when I first rented it. So I was taken out of it completely.
Well, you weren't the only one. A lot of people felt that way.
Like have them get killed off into prison or
I don't remember. Were they in the movie?
no.
So maybe they just couldn't get them, so they had to explain why they weren't in it.
Well, I think that was their plan all along, is not to have them.
I think the point was to
because
isolate Ripley even more.
yeah,
she lost
they
her
had
crew.
they had to isolate. I mean, and what are you going to do when you have like how old was she? 9, 10 years old in an all men's prison? It's not gonna it's gonna turn into something that you don't want it to. And
Well, I mean, I
And-
think that's a whole different thing.
it was a smart move. It was a smart move to kill them off. Like you said, it betrays everything that you fought for in Aliens. Yes, I agree,
Right.
100%. But it's a move that had to be done. Bye. And he.
Well, I know I know Ollie's, having some issues,
Yeah.
so I get it. It's just it sucks that he has to keep doing that.
Yeah. But it's a move that I felt that had to work with the narrative of the movie. So I mean, I get it. It makes sense. You had to do it. I don't think it had to work. It was a matter of, I don't think it was a matter of them not being able to get them. I don't think getting a hold of either one of these two would have been that big of a problem. Although, whatever the girl's name is who played Newt, I think this was her only role, was in Aliens.
I think so. Yeah, one and done.
And they used their face. Well, they used Reese's face. They paid him to use his face in that computer scan, and they couldn't use Newt's face because by that time she gotten a lot older. She doesn't look anything like that anymore now,
Right.
or at least in 1992, 6 years apart. So they couldn't really use that face. So, but the makeup design on the destroyed bodies that are laying in the pods, those look great. I thought those looked great. But I think Alien 3 is a misunderstood. I wouldn't say masterpiece, but it's a misunderstood film. I think it needs to be viewed, a few times to really appreciate it, especially the director's cut. The director's cut is great. And I can understand, and like I said, I can understand why people don't like it. I mean, you went from like what, 30,000 aliens to one little measly alien,
Right.
and you're supposed to use the backdrop of a, a planetary jail to anchor the rest. You got to really hope on some really strong writing to make that work. I think
Right.
it works, but that's me, and you know how I am.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not
we
all
do.
there. I'm not all there. In 2009, movie Tormented, and in 2015, 10 years ago today, we were subjected to the remake of Poltergeist. Man, oh man,
I didn't even see that. Was
you
that
don't want it.
was it Ryan Reynolds? Was that? Or am I thinking of
Well,
another
no,
bad?
he did the Amityville Horror.
That's okay. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. How dare I get those confused? Those
Yeah, but his
beautiful
abs were
sequels.
fucking killer.
All right. Well, all right. So we go from opening days to birthdays. In May 22nd, 1974, A.J. Langer appeared in Poltergeist, The Legacy, Escape from L.A., and The People Under the Stairs. I think I'm saying his name right. Langer. In 1972, Max Brooks, son of
Oh,
Mel
yeah.
Brooks,
Yep.
horror author who wrote novels and screenplays for The Zombie Survival Guide, a worthy book. You gotta read it. It is awesome, and you totally buy into everything he puts in that book. It's a great book. I still have it.
Is that one
World
of the?
War Z.
Sorry to interrupt,
Huh?
MZ. Have you read that one, Raven Shadow?
I know of it.
Oh, okay. I
know
was
of
going
it.
to say, is that the only book that all of us have read? Like combined, all three of us.
Right.
But no, it's not. Okay.
All right, so Wolfie agrees.
It's good. Yeah.
It's a great book.
Yeah.
I mean, you totally believe and buy into it. If a zombie outbreak was to happen, this is how you would play it out, and he has it perfect. He covers all the bases. World War Z, an oral history of a zombie war.
Yep.
Yeah. And let's see. In 1940, Michael Sarrazin co-starred in Fear.com, Poltergeist: The Legacy TV series, The Arrival 2,
Wait.
The Reincarnation of Peter Proud, and Frankenstein: The True Story.
Wait, in the 40s, he started a movie called Fear.com?
He was born in 1940.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right out of the womb, he was acting.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's prophetic.
Yeah, 23 Skidoo and War Bonds and Free Huey and Dewey and Louie and oh yeah, Fear.com.
1945, a world at war. Go to recycle.com.
All right, 1939. This is when he was born, Raven Shadow.
Thank you.
The late Paul Winfield appeared in The Dead of Night, The Legend of Gator Face, Mars Attacks, The Serpent and the Rainbow, and The Terminator, as well as Damnation Alley. In 1938, Richard Benjamin starred in such films as Saturday the 14th, a goofy movie, man. I just watched that again about maybe 6 or 7 years ago for the first time in like 40 years, and it's not as good as I was hoping. It's not as good as I remember it. It's better when you watch it when you're a kid. Love at First Bite and Westworld. And in 1859,
The Westworld, the movie with Yul Brynner.
Westworld, yeah.
Yeah.
And in 1859, Fear.com was released in the cineplexes all over the country.
What the fuck?
1859. Fear.com. Like they knew what .coms were in 1859.
Starring Billy the Kid.
Starring Billy Blanks.
Billy Blank.
Sorry, Billy Blanks, Mr. T, and RuPaul. 1859, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle
Oh, yeah, I know
created
that
the
dude.
famous Detective Sherlock Holmes books. And that is all that I have.
Did you say Arthur Conan Doyle?
Conan Arthur.
Sir Arthur
Doyle.
Conan Doyle, he said.
Oh, yeah.
What
Yeah,
if you
Conan.
if you were to ask Sir Arthur Conan Doyle what is best in life, what would he say?
Destroy your enemies and hear the lamentations of their women, dude.
All right, there you go.
And if you don't like that, then to hell with you.
Oh, I thought you were gonna do. I got 2 words for you.
Oh no, the crumb.
Then they would say, be
They say
be
what?
excellent to each other.
Oh yeah.
Party on, dude.
All right, let me see the chat. We got Ghetto Tim. He says, "Hoi hoi."
Oi, oi.
We have our pal Sergeant Chad Copeland, sensitivity trainer. Sergeant Chad Copeland. Does that mean anything to you guys?
Yes, it does.
Okay, what does that mean?
Copeland, sir. Chad Copeland. Good
Well,
for you.
What's it from?
Police Academy.
Oh, okay.
Well, he was
of course.
He was Cadet Copeland at that point, but then at one point, E.G. Bailey calls him Dopeland.
Dopeland.
Yeah, Chad Copeland.
All right, so cool. Well, thanks for dropping that knowledge on us, MZ.
That's what I'm here for.
And well, anyway, Sergeant Chad Copeland, sensitivity trainer, says, "Good evening, gentlemen," and says, "I like brown, especially on the Padres uniforms."
Yes. Old school with the lowercase letters.
And let's see, Evil Corny is hanging out. He posted a GIF of Norm from Cheers. This is
No.
And then Sergeant Chad also says, "Eat the cake, LMA." And he says, "Hello, Goth." Hello, Goth. All right. So, yeah, as mentioned, we're going to be talking about the film Dead Male. And this is a Shudder exclusive. It's on streaming there. If you haven't checked it out, you can. What I thought we'd do for a little bit in the intro here, MZ, is talk about some of the themes of the movie. But it's hard to actually say what the theme is. One thing about it is it combines synths and horror, but not necessarily in the way that you would think, right? Like when you think synth and horror, you think like John Carpenter, with a synth score or something like that. But no, this is something a little bit different. So we have that, and then we have the dead male sort of detective. Have you guys ever seen a movie with a dead male detective? It seems like it's something that would have happened, but I'm like drawing a blank trying to think of that.
No.
Raven Shadow?
No. And I mean, having partnered with the USPS for the last 26 years, I'm not even sure that's a thing. I know return mail is the least focused on task. So I can't even imagine what dead mail. I think it's like mail addressed to Santa Claus and Superman.
Let's see. Well, this is a completely different thing, but apparently there's a movie called Signed, Sealed, Delivered, and it says that it follows the lives of 4 postal detectives who transform themselves into a team to track down intended recipients of undeliverable mail. Their mission take them out of the office and into an unpredictable world where redirected letters and packages can save lives, solve crimes, reunite old loves, and change futures by arriving late, but somehow always on time.
That's so sweet, but you are giving these cats way too much credit. I'm sorry.
Is this a drama?
It's a romantic. It says
Oh,
romance
God.
comedy drama. Yeah.
Romance comedy. Well,
Isn't that a Stevie Wonder song? Sign, seal, deliver up your.
oh yeah.
Oh, Signed, Sealed, Delivered is a. It looks like it's a. Wait, it's a series on Hallmark Mystery. What?
Yeah. See, there you go. See.
Hallmark mystery. On Hallmark, the mystery is the guy did it. Okay. Here,
Why
mystery
his
solved.
his wife did it, but Hecubus. I haven't seen it
Evil, evil.
yet.
Yeah. Here's the mystery. Why are cards fucking $8 now, Hallmark? Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, right.
So I mean, there is okay. Well, there is a dead letter office. Is it actually still a thing though? That's what I'm curious about. So, a dead letter office or returned letter office is a postal facility that processes undeliverable mail. This includes mail with invalid addresses, missing return addresses, or deficient postage. The DLO's primary function is to try and locate the correct destination of undeliverable mail.
Wow. I didn't even know that was an actual thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's funny because it's such a I don't know, like, I mean, we'll talk about it when we get into the movie, but I feel like it's such an untapped, like, sort of idea, like, kind of a concept. I mean, I could even see a comic book Raven Shadow. Like, if it's not going to be a fucking, TV show or a movie, I could see, like, a comic book
Right.
where someone, 100 Bullet style or something like that, where someone is a dead letter detective or something,
And yeah, and I'm really curious about how this conversation is going to go when we get there. I'm actually really really intrigued.
So I'm just,
Yeah, but it just comes across as so random. To have like a horror movie or any movie play off of something like this. It's like here's a horror movie about a guy who picks up trash, or
yeah, but I mean, there's a number of horror movies that just deal with like mundane things, like we
Well,
could
look at like I think it's awesome. Men at Work.
right,
The-
but trash man, yeah.
yeah, but that's a comedy. I mean, that's a comedy. That's
But they come across a murder scenario
Yeah.
and wacky hijinks ensue.
Yep.
It's the profession is the catalyst for the story. You know what I mean? So I think that's interesting. I think Men at Work's a great example. I mean, well, I don't think I guess comedies are an easier thing. Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. You know,
talk
Is
about
there
a
a
film
guy?
that wasn't supposed to work.
So
no, it
here's,
should not have.
here's let me read a little bit about I'm just reading this from Wikipedia for the dead letter office in the US. It gives some info about different countries, but in the US it says the US Post Office, as it was known then, started a dead letter office in 1825 to deal with undeliverable mail. By 1893, it handled about 20,000 items every day. Jesus Christ. In 1893?
Hell,
They had really fucking bad handwriting back then.
yeah, yeah.
Well, it's fair. You have people who aren't educated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like some people were like, "Mom," and put it in the mailbox. Perfect.
Mom. So it says Patty Lyle Collins was a longtime employee of the office, responsible for the redirection of an estimated 1,000 letters a day. A day? How is that possible? I don't know. In 2006, approximately 90 million undeliverable as addressed items ended up in the dead letter office of the USPS. When the rightful owners cannot be identified, the correspondence is destroyed to protect customer privacy, and enclosed items of value are removed. These facilities are now known as Mail Recovery Centers, MRC. Other former names include the Dead Letter Branch and the Dead Parcel Branch. The USPS Mail Recovery Center is located in Atlanta, Georgia. And since April 2013, the postal auctions have been held online and include not only material lost in the U.S., but also material from other national postal authorities who consigned them to the USPS for auction. So it was also REM had an album called The Dead Letter Office.
Of course they did.
In the film Miracle on 34th Street, two mail sorters handle a letter addressed to Kris Kringle, and so I guess they're part of the Dead Letter Office. So that's another thing.
Yeah.
Clive Barker's book, The Great and Secret Show, features segments centered on the Dead Letter Office in Omaha, Nebraska. The Simpsons, I guess in the episode Sunday, Cruddy Sunday, visit their local post office and are treated to a piece of undeliverable mail from the Dead Letter Office as a souvenir. In the 1996 comedy film Dear God, a character played by Greg Kinnear, who works in the Dead Letter Office in Los Angeles, responds to letters written to God.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that. And there's actually in a 1990s Adventures of Superman issue, it revealed that I think every Christmas Eve he would go and he would like go through letters addressed to Superman and try to help somebody. That it was a Dan Jurgens Art Thiebaud issue. And he would try to help someone that really needed his help. With that, so that's cool. And by the way, that will all go away if the USPS is privatized. So
yeah,
so
absolutely.
Enjoy it while you can, gang.
Yeah.
And learn how to spell.
Yeah, and there's actually a couple of video games. Psychonauts 2 featured a representation of a Dead Letter Office, and also the video game Control. The fictional government agency called the Federal Bureau of Control has a department called Dead Letters, where they receive correspondence from across the country that may hint at a supernatural situation.
Oh, what about this horror movie? What if there are letters from the dead?
Oh, and it's called the Dead Letter Office, right?
Right? And it's like dead people sending fucking spiritual, supernatural mail. Right?
Somebody gets mail from the other side, right? And then tries to deliver it to the relatives or friends or family, right?
Right.
Maybe cool.
It could be a fucking locket or a fucking watch from your nana or something.
Yeah. I like it.
Or a warning.
The Dead Letter Office. Let's do it. And all that abundance of time we have.
Right.
Evil Corny says you could mail children by mail, and I always wondered if a kid ever got lost in the mail. What? You can mail children?
You can't do that, Corny.
Corny's, have you tried?
Alabama's fucking weird, dude.
Yeah, really. What the hell's going on down there?
Who knows?
You can't mail children. Maybe in 1800s you could.
Yeah. Instead of putting them on a plane, you put them in a mailbox. Yeah, go visit your father in New England.
Yeah, going to grandma's house. Grandma's house a bust.
Do you have to wrap the kids? Like put them in a box, wrap them up?
Yeah, you got to secure them. You got to put some packing tape in there. You got to put some packing peanuts. You know. Oh, actually, no, you put real peanuts in there so they can eat them.
Oh, right. Yeah, you gotta.
Dude, that's how packing peanuts came into play, I bet.
What about circus peanuts? Put some of those in there because they're soft and edible, right?
That's what I'm saying.
They're soft. I don't know if they're edible.
Well, they're edible. It might not make it very long, but you can actually eat them.
You might be better off eating the packing peanuts.
Wait, are those fucking orange fucking candies?
Yeah,
that taste
yeah.
Like fucking...
Yeah.
Oh, those suck.
And for years, I couldn't figure out what the flavor was until I saw some show. I think it was that Mark Summers joint.
Yeah.
You know, where he
the candy and stuff.
Yeah. The flavor is banana.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
It's banana flavor.
Wow.
Yeah. Flavor. It's banana.
Yeah, no way. I didn't taste banana to me.
I just tasted shit.
No, after I heard that, I tried one and I'm like, yeah, I can taste the banana, but I can also taste a lot of synthetic crap that gets pumped into this thing as well.
Syrup.
Syrup.
Syrup. Fructose, probably a lot of fructose.
Red
Oh,
dye.
yeah,
milk
there's tons of
dye.
it, yeah.
Sawdust.
Sawdust.
It's made with fucking sawdust and stamps.
Cardboard.
Nobody wants that.
Yeah. Corny sent me a link, says when people use the postal service to mail their children. In the early days of the USPS, there weren't clear guidelines about what you could and couldn't mail.
I want to mail this to New Hampshire, please. All right. Do you have any hazardous material or children in here?
Oh, children. It says in January 1913, one Ohio couple took advantage of the USPS's new parcel service to make a very special delivery, their infant son. The Beegs paid 15 cents for his stamp and an unknown amount to insure him for $50. Then handed him over to the mailman who dropped the boy off at his grandmother's house about a mile away.
How the fuck did we get to 2025? You know what I mean?
Wow.
That's funny. 15 cents.
Yeah, 15 cents to mail your kid down the road.
That's actually worth it. That's actually worth it.
Yeah, imagine if it was that now. Like, people wouldn't do fucking daycare. They would just fucking mail their kids.
Yeah.
For the day and just mail them back to their house.
Yeah.
People immediately.
You could put the return address and the sender as the same one.
Right.
Without putting money on it.
Yeah.
And they handle it, and then it just comes back.
Stamp it on his forehead or whatever. Yeah.
That's so ridiculous. Let's see. People immediately started testing its limits by mailing eggs, bricks, snakes, and other unusual packages. So
why would you mail?
I got a snake, man.
I guess. How'd you get in the mail? I got a snake, man.
So were people allowed to mail their children? Technically, there is no postal regulation against it. The first few years of parcel post service, it was a bit of a mess, says Nancy Pope, head curator of history at the National Postal Museum. You had different towns getting away with different things depending on how their postmaster read the regulations. Pope has found about 7 instances of people mailing children between 1913 and 1915, beginning with the baby in Ohio. It wasn't common to mail your children, yet for long distances, it would have been cheaper to buy the stamps to send a kid by railway mail than to buy her a ticket on a passenger train.
That is funny.
That is ridiculous.
That is ridiculously funny.
Holy shit.
Oh, what I would have loved to have tried that.
In addition, people who mailed their children weren't handing them over to a stranger. In rural areas, many families knew their mailmen quite well. However, those 2 viral photos you might have seen online of postal workers carrying babies in their mailbags were staged, taken as a joke. A mailman might have brought a swaddled child who couldn't walk, but he wouldn't have let a diaper-wearing baby sit in a pile of people's mail.
So the kid's got to be a certain age. All right.
I don't know.
So it can't be a newborn baby crapping in his diapers. It's got to be a
well, as long as you put him in a box.
It's got to be a toilet train little shit.
In the case of May Piersdorf, whose parents sent her to her grandparents' house 73 miles away in February 1914, the postal worker who took her by railway mail train was a relative. The Idaho family paid 53 cents for the stamps they put on their nearly 6-year-old daughter's coat. Yet after Postmaster General Albert S. Burleson heard about this incident, as well as another inquiry someone had made that month about mailing children, he officially banned postal workers from accepting humans as mail. Still,
that's beautiful.
Still, the new regulation didn't immediately stop people from sending their children by post. A year later, a woman mailed her 6-year-old daughter from her home in Florida to her father's home in Virginia. 720 miles away. It was the longest postal trip of any of the children Pope has identified and cost 15 cents in stamps.
Oh, I love this
Holy
story.
shit, this is awesome,
Oh, this
Corny.
is great. Now, see, this would make a good horror movie. Can you imagine this story right here? Why there is no movie based on this activity is befuddling. I am totally zeroed in on something like
MZ,
this.
you all right? Just start writing it. Good.
I should. Jesus Christ.
Oh, man, that's fucking hilarious.
How the hell did we achieve flight and the ability to go to space?
How do we achieve anything?
Like,
My
how did we
God.
invent the wheel? Like, and I love how it went through all these handlers until one guy was like, "What the fuck you guys doing?"
Yeah. I know. Like at least 15 children were like shipped.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know, boss says, wrote the kid in, we bought it.
Oh, that is beautiful. I love that.
There's like one more paragraph. I might as well just read the whole fucking thing. I'm almost there. In August 1915, 3-year-old Maud Smith made what appears to be the last journey of a child by U.S. post when her grandparents mailed her 40 miles through Kentucky to visit her sick mother. After the story made the news, Superintendent John Clark of the Cincinnati Division of the Railway Mail Service investigated, questioning why the postmaster in Caney, Kentucky had allowed a child on a mail train when that was explicitly against regulations. I don't know if he lost his job, but he sure had some explaining to do, Pope says. Though Maud seems to be the last successfully mailed child, others would later still try to mail their children. In June 1920, First Assistant Postmaster General John C. Coons rejected 2 applications to mail children, noting that they couldn't be classified as harmless live animals, according to the LA Times. They couldn't be classified as harmless live animals.
Oh, man.
Wait.
Wow. This is incredible.
Priority, you got hazardous and non-harming animals.
Courtney says they mailed kids until 1915. Those kids had prices on their heads like mofo.
Imagine like mailing a lion to one of your enemies.
Well, you know what? I mean, it's like the old comic book advertisements back in the 60s and 70s where, you would get to that page where it had all these different tricks, like change a piece of paper into a $10 bill, a $50 bill, a $100 bill, or a joy buzzer, or x-ray specs, or, be in your own full-size submarine, build it, and have your own adventures. There's this one item that they had back in the day. Purchase your own live monkey.
Not the fucking barrel of monkeys. An actual monkey.
An actual ring-tailed monkey.
The fuck.
And there's one famous story out there. This kid, he purchased it without his parents' notification. They knew nothing about it. He saved up his pennies, and it cost like $4.95. And he figured, oh, what the hell? Give it a try. Let's see what happens. So he saved up his money, mailed out the money, and in a couple weeks' time, here comes this truck with a box. And inside the box was a live ring-tailed monkey.
Fuck.
The kid opened up the box. The monkey jumped out and started ransacking the entire house.
Eating people's fucking faces off, shitting everywhere. Imagine how much stink a monkey shitting in a box from fucking Kentucky to fucking Illinois.
Well, I don't think they were from Kentucky. I don't know where this kid was living in. I don't know where he was from, but I think the monkeys came from South America, somewhere in South
Oh my
America.
God, were they rat monkeys?
But it's an amazing story, and parents were fuming. They were livid at him.
Gee, I wonder why.
And I think in the end they had to kill the monkey, I think. But it's like, damn it, man, you had to do that to a monkey. But you know, at the same time, it's not the monkey's fault. I mean, monkey's just being a monkey,
Yeah,
you
monkey
know.
see, monkey
But
do.
but it's just so outrageous that a kid would actually purchase a monkey from the comic books, and one would show up and just start destroying the whole house the second it got out of the box.
It's like
I
you
don't know
fucking
what the
come
kid was
home.
thinking would happen, but
You come home from the fucking Dust Bowl or the fuck you do your work in that time of year, and you fucking, I just want to have my fucking bread and fucking water. And you get a fucking monkey running. I'm like, humans suck. Like every time there's a little bit of advancement, someone's trying to grift or do something shitty with it.
yeah, one step forward, two steps back. That's how it goes.
Jesus.
We as a species will never learn. We will never,
No.
ever, ever, ever learn. Ever. We got to make things so much worse before we learn how to make it better. And the poor goddamn monkey, you know?
It's like now I understand why there's fucking directions on shampoo and warnings on coffee. Because you gotta be like, don't mail children.
Yeah. But then again, this was the early 20th century. I mean, people were just starting to smarten up, you know, but apparently there were a few stragglers behind that thought mailing their children through the United States Postal Service was a good idea.
Right. Like now I get why we had to come up with fucking 10 fucking commandments. Listen, guys, listen. You guys are fucking nuts. Like someone figure out 10 things you shouldn't do. Oh, because a man in the sky said it. All right, fine. You know, like fucking
Yeah, but at the same time, you know, consider the alternative today, where parents would just casually kill their own children. You know, before, if you wanted to get rid of a kid, you would just ship them off, you know, through the United States Postal Service. Nowadays, you just kill them.
Jesus.
actually it probably kept a lot of marriages together.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably.
That's probably why there wasn't such a high divorce rate. Like, oh, this kid sucks. Let's mail him to your aunt.
Or mail them to somebody's aunt.
Yeah. Let's mail him. You know, just like, you think they would intentionally? Oh, wow, that's fucked up. What if you intentionally mailed your kid and spelled the address wrong?
Yeah, right. It ends up with some beer swilling fatso with
Like
wearing a wife beater and greasy
the
hair.
dead kid office.
The dead kid office. Wow, that's dark.
Yeah. You can't mail away all your problems. I wish you could.
Oh man, that went places. Wow, mailing your kids. Why not?
Thanks, Corny.
That's got to be a movie somewhere. It has to be, or at least
yeah.
a documentary. I would love to know more about this.
Right?
I am so intrigued right now.
I think he misspoke and I think he meant aroused.
Well, there was that show, The Young Riders, I believe, with the young Josh Brolin about the Pony Express on ABC. I want to say in the late 80s, early 90s. And they were all like having adventures on horseback, bringing mail to places.
Adventures in horseback. No,
Yeah. There's a thing.
I believe you.
The Young Riders.
Okay.
They
I
rode
think I've heard of
horses.
that.
Yeah. It was on Friday
I have
nights.
a vague recollection of it. I know I never saw it, but I do have a vague recollection of the title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was the early Pony Express. Oh, and it was The Postman with Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner.
Yeah, yeah. Which I feel
Mail.
that was the Bible, right? Did he have a Bible? Wasn't he? Was he?
Oh, I have no idea. I never saw it. I don't watch Kevin Costner movies.
Yeah, you do. You've seen a Kevin Costner movie.
Seen Bull Durham.
No, I've never seen Bull Durham.
What?
You've seen
Wait, you give me shit for not seeing The Sandlot? And you haven't seen Bull Durham?
Oh shit!
Yeah, I do.
That's
Who the
no.
fuck know
Bull
now?
Durham is way better than The Sandlot.
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't know. You never
That's
seen
true.
it.
That's true. I wouldn't know, but it's got to be.
Fucking what's the Ray Liotta joint? The League of if you build it,
Eight
they
Men
will
Out?
come.
No,
No,
not Eight Men Out.
Field
Field
of
of
Dreams.
Dreams.
Field of Dreams.
That I have seen.
Have you seen
And it is-
Dances with Wolves?
No.
Let's see. What else?
Not Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Not his stupid album.
How have I not how can I not think of any of the other Waterworld?
Because they're not memorable.
For the Love of the
Waterworld,
Game.
Never seen it.
For the Love of the Game.
Never seen it.
Sam
never seen
Raimi. Sam Raimi directed it.
Yeah, but it's just another Kevin Costner baseball movie. I mean,
Yeah,
how
with
many
Sam Raimi.
baseball movies does this guy need to
Yeah,
make?
but you love baseball. You fucking
You love
did a
baseball. You love
fucking-
Sam Raimi.
I hate
Yeah.
baseball and I hate Sam Raimi.
And I hate all of you.
I hate all you.
What about JFK? Dances with Wolves.
Never seen it. Never seen it.
Chasing Dreams.
I've been wanting to see JFK. I've been wanting to. Chasing Dreams. No, never even heard of it.
He was in a TNA comedy.
Chasing Dreams is another one of his baseball movies.
Is it really?
Yeah, he's been in like
Jesus
5
Christ.
of them, I think.
This dude fucking
Jesus
loves
Christ, he's worse than
baseball.
Reginald Veld Johnson when he plays a police officer.
Holy shit. Hold on. He did 3 in a row. He did Bull Durham, Field of Dreams, and Chasing Dreams in a row. 3
Oh.
baseball movies in a row.
Tin Cup. Tin Cup.
And
Never seen
and
Tin
he slept with that guy's wife.
That guy's
and
wife.
Cal Ripken.
He slept with Cal Ripken's wife.
He loves baseball so much. He
Cal
wanted
love
to,
Ripken
it.
Jr.
he wanted to
What?
get one over on the Iron Man.
I love baseball too. When do I get to sleep with Cal Ripken's
Did
wife?
you hear that story? I think we talked
No.
about it.
I don't know if I know it either.
My understanding of it, from what I heard, he was having the streak, right? He was having the streak.
Yeah. He played in holy shit.
Consecutive games.
Yeah, it was like
You got it.
2000. I'll have to look it up. I forget.
2,130.
Yeah.
So was there a day that the game was called because there was an electrical issue in the park?
I don't know.
Because according to legend,
2,632 consecutive games.
so according to the story that I heard, Cal Ripken was going to the ballpark. The streak was going on. He was going to start. And then for some reason, he forgot his lucky glove or his dad's watch, whatever the fuck, he had to come back to his house. And then he saw Kevin Costner fucking his wife. And he was out of his fucking mind. Like, I'm not fucking playing. I'm going to kill this motherfucker. People got involved. And then it was decided that there was a electrical issue at the park. And the game was called to keep the streak going.
Okay, so this is a
Yeah.
conspiracy theory. Apparently, let me look
Charlie
here.
Ripken.
All right, so it's
Is there
on
something there?
it's on Reddit under conspiracy theory subreddit.
Oh, okay.
So here's the tale. On August 14th, 1997, the game between the Orioles and the Mariners was postponed due to a power outage. The thing is that there was no other power outage in the city or stadium besides a few lights above the Orioles dugout. Supposedly that day, Cal Ripken Jr. walked in on Kevin Costner banging his wife, and the two got into a fist fight, which ended up in Ripken hurting his hand badly enough that he could not play in the game. Not wanting to end his record-breaking streak in consecutive games played or ruining his reputation, the Orioles are said to create the power outage on purpose to give Cal's hand more time to recover.
Oh, damn. I never heard of this before. Oh, that's funny.
I found a blog that is like all about it. Like it has like a
Really?
whole thing. Yeah, I don't know. Like One line in this
That's
blog says, "Yeah, this is giving me Carmela Soprano vibes." Let's just say Kevin Costner has a good taste in women. Who is making that barking sound? Oh wait, that's me. What?
well, she was, good looking woman.
All right, here's in this it says, "What does Cal have to say on the situation?" Well, he was asked publicly about it, and I will copy and paste the whole quote, and you tell me if this guy's full of shit or not. It's easy to check the facts of that one. I remember it very well. The bank of lights went off, and Randy Johnson was pitching for the Seattle Mariners, and we were deciding what to do about that. Was there enough visible light out there to actually see a guy throwing over 100 miles per hour? The bank was just over the dugout, and I physically went out and tested it for the umpire. I was in discussion with the umpires. I was definitely there. I was ready to play. I definitely was there, and I'm sure I was on camera a number of times being out on the field. And so the guy who writes this blog says, I have lied my way through life. Some may consider me a bullshitter. As every bullshitter knows, you can't bullshit a bullshitter. And as a bullshitter, I call bullshit. This sounds like a guy who is too busy worrying about if the guy banging his wife does it better than him. But that's just me. The Orioles played the doubleheader the next day, and Cal played in both ends, going a combined 2 for 4 with an RBI, a walk, and was pulled in the later innings of the second game. Maybe his hand was not hurt, and Kevin Costner did not bang his wife, and the power did go out by complete coincidence, but all rumors have a little bit of truth in them. Cal and his wife Kelly would divorce in 2016, almost 20 years after the incident.
Wow.
I mean, look, anybody can bang Cal Ripken's wife, but only Cal Ripken can fucking do what he did on the baseball field.
Well, it's
You
true.
know?
Yeah, no one's ever going to break that.
And no Kevin Costner or Kelly Ripken or even Billy Ripken, for that matter, can say otherwise.
Yeah, but that's not gonna fucking stop him from fucking getting mental when fucking Dances with Wolves come on. Or someone's like, "Did you watch Yellowstone? Fuck you, motherfucker!" Because that was sticking that motherfucker's craw,
I can't believe you remember that of all people, Raven Child. I never heard that.
right?
And Evil Corny says, Raven Shadow, this Ripken Costner thing doesn't hold up like my mailing kids story.
I don't know. Now I want to see the documentary about Kevin Costner fucking Cal Ripken's wife. That's what I want to see.
You might have to make it.
Yeah, I will make it.
Right after we make this Dead Letter Office pilot.
Yes.
We got a lot to get to after this episode. Jeez.
Yeah,
I know.
We're going to be pretty busy. We should collaborate over the weekend.
And listen. All right. Well, we should wrap up there because we got a movie to talk about. And wow, that went some interesting places. We talked about mailing children and the conspiracy of Cal Ripken almost losing the streak because he hurt his hand.
I mean, the big question now: did Ella Mae Smith know about this, or George Wendt?
Unfortunately,
I'm willing to bet George Wendt knew. I'm willing to bet George Wendt knew.
I bet that George Wendt created that story.
Oh shit!
He created the conspiracy.
He personally shut off the lights. He personally shut off the lights. Just took an axe to the took an axe to the fuse box, you know.
Yeah. Like fucking Casey Jones in the first Turtle movie. Oops, and turning the fucking crushed fucking shredder on the dumpster.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to believe that that's how it really went. George Wendt took an axe to the fuse box because he didn't want Cal Ripken to lose his streak over Kevin Costner fucking his wife.
Jesus Christ.
Although to be fair, if you're gonna break a streak, that's a good fucking reason. Like, no shame in the game, Cal. You know what I mean? Like,
technically, it didn't break a streak because they didn't play the game.
Right.
So his streak went on.
And on and on and on.
just like Kevin Costner and Kelly Ripken.
Yeah. Oh shit!
Shit. And Kevin Costner was apparently It says Costner would also deny any claims that he banged Cal's wife. He called into a radio show in 2001 as the day before the hosts were discussing whether or not Costner did the deed. Costner said that he only talked to Ripken's wife for 10 minutes in his entire life. Well, yeah, I mean, you don't have to talk to, do the deed, right?
Yeah, wrong verb.
And they only met twice. It should also be noted that before this incident in 1997, Kelly Ripken and Costner would sit together at an Orioles game to watch Cal play. Once again, cannot out bullshit a bullshitter.
That's fucked up, dude.
That's funny.
I think it happened.
Yeah,
That's funny, man.
there's too much there's too many stories going on to make me believe that it actually happened.
No, I think it's true. I think it's damn true.
All right, so let's wrap up. Oh man, some crazy fucking stories. Let me just make sure there's no chats. Okay, yeah, we're good. We're clear on chat. All right, so if you guys want to help support the show, there are a few ways you can do so. First and foremost is Patreon, patreon.com/trickortreatradio. And we just recorded a new Patreon exclusive this past weekend. And I figured since Memorial Day is coming up, I'll release it in time for Memorial Day because it is somewhat related. It's about killer food. Hey, if you're going to have a barbecue or a party, you're going to want some killer food, a killer spread. So we talk all about it. And you'll find out more once you listen about what the topic truly is about. So give that a listen when it pops up onto Patreon. It'll be available hopefully this weekend. And you guys will have access to that if you're currently a Patreon supporter. If you're not, you can get in on the action by going to patreon.com/trickortreatradio. And there you can join for as little as $2 a month. And yeah, so give it a look. You can get into the higher tiers. Speaking of, we have a Patreon takeover coming up next week, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So we got that going on. What else? Oh, yeah. You can also head to trickortreatradio.com, click on the Amazon logo on the front page, scroll down. You'll find it, and there it's going to link you to Amazon. It's going to input our affiliate link. So everything you purchase in that session will get attributed to us. Doesn't cost any extra, and we get a tiny little cut of it. It helps pay for all the bills. And we just acquired a new bill because now we're using Microsoft Teams because it's the only fucking video software that allows NDI, which will allow us to individually output video feeds so we can do here like we do in XSplit. So, so add that to the list. So if you guys want to help out, we have a bunch of software that we pay for, and we've been doing the show for, holy shit, almost 13 years, 669 episodes in a row every weekly. And so, yeah, any and all support is appreciated, you guys. Also, the final way you can support is by going to trickortreatradio.com and clicking on the store, and there you can get the greatest hits of Trick or Treat Radio Volumes 1 through 3. All right, so there you have it. Patreon, Amazon link, and the greatest hits. All right, Michael Raven Shadow, why don't you lead us not into temptation, but into break?
So fucking today, I go for lunch, and
sorry. So fucking today, all right.
So I'm trying to fucking not get takeout. I'm 48 years old, so I bring my can of fucking SpaghettiOs and meatballs. And I go to fucking pop a top, and the fucking top thing fucking pops off, right? So now I got fucking just a fucking can. So now I'm in the break room in the downstairs area of our new building, trying to find a fucking can opener. Find a can opener, but there's no handle on it, right? There's no fucking handle.
I hear it.
Now I take my fucking Leatherman by the fucking clips, and now I'm trying to fucking use that to fucking open the fucking can. That's not working. So I go to the fucking third floor. Spaghetti meatballs can in hand. wearing my leather. And I go up in there. I go through fucking 3 fucking can openers and I can't fucking pierce this fucking Chef Boyardee partnering with Wakanda to make some vibranium fucking cans. So now I got 3 minutes of fucking lunch left. So you better believe, without food in my belly, I had to strap on.
All right, we'll be back in a moment.
With the same old routine.
What you really want is some blood and thunder in your life.
Well, friend, you found it.
The Cromcast is an adventurous journey through the history of two-fisted pulp stories
With your host, John,
Josh,
and Luke.
we have action.
horror,
An adventure, all through the lens of pulp luminary Robert E. Howard.
Don't just stay in your ordinary life.
find your pulp life at thecromcast.blogspot.com.
The Cromcast,
The Cromcast.
The Cromcast.
a podcast for the barbarian at heart.
I'm Alex West.
And I'm Andrea Subasati, and we're from the Faculty of Horror podcast.
And you're listening to Trick or Treat Radio.
Greetings! We are the Retro Reductopus Cephala Podcast, a bi-weekly show that celebrates all the things that made growing up awesome.
He's right. We wax philosophic about lots of geeky crap like old video games and movies, toys, cartoons. I don't know, help me out here.
Music, pants, quoting video games that don't have dialogues, shabibans, tasty news,
Unnecessarily long Japanese onomatopoeia.
butt breathers, uncomfortable nature facts.
or how to install a thermoplange.
And unlike all those other podcasts, we at Retro Redoctopus have an exciting rotating host schedule.
Do we? We sure do.
So, if you didn't like the guy flapping his gums this week,
Like me.
worry not, gentle listener. Next week we'll have a whole new host.
Of problems.
Hey, they might still suck, but they'll suck differently.
And you know what's really cool? Retro Reductopus is part of the Inebriarch Podcast Network, with new episodes out every Tentacle Tuesday.
Which is like every other Tuesday. We named it.
Anyways, you can listen to us at iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, or straight from the tab reductopus.buzzsprout.com.
I could be standing outside a woman's prison in a fistful of 50s and a bouquet of dildos, and no woman would come near me. Do you
say a bouquet of dildos?
And we have returned. At least I have. How did you beat MZ?
With style.
With a plum?
With a plum. With a plume. With a plumage.
All right. I'll wait till MZ gets back. But I actually need to, for the first time ever, I need to step away for a few minutes. So you guys, it's all on you guys. You guys can, whatever, just talk some bullshit or tell some stories or whatever.
So, I mean, I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but I, started some self-improvements.
All right. Well, go ahead and
Lately?
tell that story. I'm going to step away for a few minutes,
Yeah.
okay? And then when I
Yeah.
get back, we'll talk about the movie. So I apologize to everyone out there, but I'll be back in a bit.
So, I mean, I've been starting some improvements. Not a lot, but I started doing yoga over the weekend. That's fun. And
Yeah, we
particularly,
know.
yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, it's working out for you.
Well, I mean, it was a couple of days, but yeah, also the DDP yoga, former professional wrestler, doing that. So that's been fun. And so that's been good.
Well, I guess it's better than having, I don't know, Yokozuna teaching you how to do
It's true.
Yogazuna.
You yoga hoser. Yoko hoser.
No, don't say that.
No, that was sucked.
That was rough. No, I mean, yeah, for the short time that I did yoga, it's the real deal. I'll tell you, you sweat, you learn your balance.
Yep.
You center yourself, the whole deal, and it's the real deal. It really is. It's a tough thing. There's something to it.
Now, when you were doing it, were you going to classes? You were going to classes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
How many days a week?
My first class, my instructor farted right in front of me. I'm like,
how much?
Oh, so this is what it's all about, huh?
How close were you?
I was a good distance away. I might have been about maybe 15 feet away. So, and the air was on. So,
that's good. Yeah.
Chilled itself out before it got to me.
I'm gonna stay in the back. But
Yeah.
see, we're doing ours at home. But now, how many days a week did you go?
I think I only went once a week.
Okay.
I think this is like 10 years ago. I think it's what it was.
No, we were at the old studio when you started.
Or 2 times a week. Yeah. I was still living in South Grafton when I was doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, we were at the second Castle Wolfenstein when you were doing that.
Yeah. But let's see what else is going on. I don't know what else is going on.
Were you a fan of the Final Destination pictures?
No. I watched one of them, part 3, because that was the one that has the infamous logging truck scene, and everyone talks about it. Still, people still talk about it to this day. I mean,
was that 3 or 2?
3.
That was 3. Okay,
I'm almost certain it was 3, because it was the only one that I saw. But I mean, I thought the deaths were pretty cool, but also at the same time, I thought the deaths were also a little bit too computer enhanced.
Fair.
I mean, I know what they were going for, and I get it, but at the same time, it's like, all right. And on top of that, it's filled with nothing but a bunch of pretty people, and as much as I would like to, as much as I love seeing pretty people getting slaughtered, to tolerate their personalities and their attitudes for the first 45 minutes before anything happens, anything starts happening, it's just not worth it to me.
So you don't have any interest in the new was it Final Destination Bloodlines? Some fucking thing.
Bloodlines, yeah. And they're saying that the trailer that came out, when it came out, it's like the most watched horror trailer of all time, or something on that effect. I'm like, what?
Really?
Yeah. That's what I read, and it's like, it can't. It's got like over 10 million views or something like that, and I'm like, what? And then I'm like, I got to take a look at this. I got to see what is it that people are going absolutely gaga over.
Right.
So I get ready. I have it on YouTube. I'm getting ready to watch it. Then I remembered I had to take the dog out, and I never got back to it again. So there's that. I just never got into the Final Destination franchise.
No,
or anything in the 1990s to 2000s in general, especially late 1990s. My God.
Right.
Oh, it was just a bunch of floating heads on the cover art.
Well,
they all try to be the next Scream, and
100%. And that was kind of like when we get into the discussion of this film, which is definitely the antithesis of those pictures, because I've heard there were this talk of bringing back I Know What You Did Last Summer was being
Yeah,
talked about,
it's already been filmed, I think. Yeah.
and probably an urban legend might
Really?
be in
They're
the
bringing back
works.
Urban Legend?
I could be wrong, but I know what you're talking about. How every movie had the same Scream poster art.
Yeah, floating
It
heads.
wa- it was Q 20-something person at that time in leather jackets looking at the audience,
Yep.
and a problem.
Yeah, telling us to listen to Nickelback and you know, cool bands like that, and the presidents of the United States of America. Yeah, thanks, no thanks. Yeah, I'm gonna listen to Uba Stank. Yeah, thanks. I don't think so. Give me Alice Cooper on a soundtrack any day, and I'm jamming.
That would be fantastic.
It would be fantastic. I'm trying to think of what else is going on. Oh yeah, I was thinking about it, and then when I saw it, I'm like, I'm gonna decide against it. I mean, my birthday's coming up next month.
Yeah.
And there was this idea that I had for a tattoo that I wanted to get.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if I've shown you the cover before, but I was thinking about getting the cover art of Bat Pussy tattooed on me. And then I'm like, I don't think it's going to work because the face is all kind of scrunched up. And if, over time, it's not going to come out too well. And I'm like, I can't do it. I just can't do it. It ain't going to work.
Where would you get it?
Huh?
Where would you get it?
Oh, at one of the local shops around here. There's like three of them. That's
no. I was confident it would be a tattoo shop. Where on your
oh,
body?
you mean on me? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Palm of my hand, or I don't know. Maybe on my neck, like Cody Rhodes, or
Because seriously, like you do have the Cannibal Holocaust tattoo on your back, and like, do you ever go swimming?
no.
Okay, because I was just curious if people had seen that, like, because I know do your mom still have the pool?
Well, no. She doesn't even have the house anymore. She
Oh,
sold
that's
that.
right. Oh, okay.
Yeah, she lives in uh Northbridge now.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. Okay. So, but you don't have a Jason tattoo.
No, I don't. No.
Would he be your guy out of all the horror icons?
Well, I do have a Leatherface tattoo on me.
That's right. You did Leatherface, Nosferatu. Like, who's your horror Mount Rushmore icons?
Well, it wouldn't be Michael Myers. I wouldn't put
No,
Michael Myers on there.
No.
So it would be Jason. Let's see. It would be Jason. Oh boy, that's a really good question.
Right?
Because I would just branch that out in so many different areas. Because whenever anybody says the Mount Rushmore of horror, it's like it's always relegated to a franchise.
Yep.
And an American franchise at that.
Okay.
I would branch that out. I mean, yeah, Jason Voorhees, Norman Bates, because everybody would say, you got your Jason, the Freddy, Michael, Pinhead, Leatherface, Chucky, Leprechaun, fucking Ghostface, fucking
Art the Clown.
Art the Clown, or I mean, I mean, okay, but they're all franchises. They're all like glossed over, and you know, I, I mean, I would out of all the ones that I just named, outside of Leatherface, because I already got Leatherface, but I would put Jason. I would probably put Norman Bates. I think Norman Bates has a spot on there because I think Norman Bates is great. Buffalo Bill maybe, and I'm talking to myself. I'm all by myself. Okay. And let's see what else. Oh man, it would probably have to be something in another country. Just not for the sake of just mixing things up, but I think I think somebody out there in another part of the world it's worthy of. I'm just trying to think of who now. Because there's just so many names and faces that just run through my head. So it'd probably be Jason, Norman Bates, Jesus Christ. Let's mix it up. Let's put Elvira on that too.
Oh, see, now that's interesting because I was almost thinking about like non-franchise horror icons.
Yeah. Well, non-franchise.
Would you put like Christopher Lee as a person?
Christopher Lee is a very good choice. Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. So instead of making characters, just actors or actresses.
Right.
So,
like their body of work.
All right. So if we're going to do it that way, let's make it Vincent Price, Christopher Lee, Bruce Campbell.
Oh.
I would put Bruce Campbell in there only. I mean, he's great. I think he's great. Or maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm deflecting. Vincent Price, Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, Peter Lorre. I mean, there's just so many. Karloff, Lugosi, Rathbone. I mean,
there you go. So
Lon
like
Chaney
what?
Jr.
Or by decade. So what horror? When did horror start? Nosferatu?
Oh God, no! Long before then.
Is it the oldest? What's the oldest
cinematic? The first horror movie came out, I think, in 1895. It was a Frankenstein type tale. I think it was Frankenstein. In 1895, I think. I'm almost certain of that.
On film.
On film. No, on digital. Yeah, on film. Well, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle had fear.com, so
on Viewmaster.
Let me see.
But you're right, Bela Lugosi.
Like George Méliès from A Trip to the Moon, and I think he also did the Frankenstein tale that I was talking about. Max Schreck, who played Nosferatu, Conrad Veidt from The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Maybe Val Lewton, who did like I Walk with a Zombie and the Cat, Cat People, and then you could go up to like say the 50s when you start talking about Alfred Hitchcock, and then you're bringing in all the sci-fi horror films like Michael, bringing in Michael Rennie or shit, what the fuck's his name? I can't remember it now. Then you go to the 60s and you got your Herschel Gordon Lewis's and your Peter Lorre's and George Romero's. Then you start getting into the stuff that we're starting to know about, with your Toby Hoopers and your Gunnar Hansons and your Steven Spielberg and
Do you think what decade do you think encapsulates horror for you the most?
80s.
Or yeah. All right. I know that answer. Okay, yeah.
There is no comparison. 80s was the decade that really made the video boom go boom. And everybody started opening up their eyes to horror and making practical effects make the impossible possible. It's there in front of your face. You can hold it. It's tangible. It's not a computer screen. It's not a blue screen. It's not a green screen. It's there.
Right.
And the 80s was just a monster. It was just an absolute monster.
That's fair. I mean, a lot of that is because of the accessibility, right? It was, it's films, but you also had the rental market where underage kids could get access to stuff maybe their parents wouldn't take them to.
That's what I did.
Right?
14, 15 years old, I'm there renting out R-rated flicks. 14 years old, I Spit on Your Grave. I was like, now see, this is living.
I can't tell you how many times I maybe almost rented that, thinking it might just be like an action movie.
Have you seen I Spit on Your Grave?
I haven't.
Oh, dude. You don't
I remember,
know what you're missing.
I think I do. But like I remember renting Deliverance thinking it was an action picture starring the Bandit. And it was dark.
Yeah, the most amount of action was given in
to Ned Beatty.
Ned Beatty's ass, yeah.
But here's
come
the
back
question,
and
though.
you guys are talking about Deliverance.
But here's the question, though. Obviously in the 80s and 70s there was pushback to the horror genre. But King Kong, Frankenstein, Boris Karloff, was there a same like public scrutiny to horror films to those early ones as it became later?
Oh,
it
sure.
was even back then.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, not directly to those films, but I mean, like a film like Freaks, which was directed by Todd Browning, who directed the first Dracula. That movie was vilified by the public because they're like, how dare you show us these kinds of people in a film?
We don't want to know they exist. That makes us uncomfortable. Put them away.
They were the deep, dark secret. They were the kind of people that would put put a stamp on their kid and ship them off to the circus.
That's how it happened.
Through USPS?
Yeah, through the United States Postal Service for 15 cents.
You keep acting up, kid. I'm going to mail you to Todd Browning.
But enough about me. Enough about you. Wolfie is back. And what do you say we get started talking about this movie? Because
yeah, let's do it.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. So yeah, apologize. Something came up that required my attention. And now we're going to talk about a Kevin Costner movie. No, sorry, I was on his IMDb still.
With George Clooney.
Yeah. All right. We're going to talk about Dead Male. And this film is not rated. It is 1 hour, 46 minutes. And it is a horror thriller written and directed by Joe DeBauer and Kyle McConaughey. Let me check out and see if I'm familiar with either of these guys. So, looks like they previously did a film called BAB. B-A-B, it says, in a dying 1950s town, a mysterious traveler propositions a young farmhand. Donnie to help take down the town's tyrannical leader in exchange for the release of Donnie's mother from a primitive mind rehabilitation center. Wow. Sounds intense.
Okay, so they're into period pieces then.
Yeah, I would say so. And it actually had Sterling Macer Jr. in it, who was also in this. And he was Alex? Was that the character's name? Josh. So yeah, Sterling Macer Jr. plays Josh. All right, so let's get into this one here. As I mentioned, Joe DeBauer and Kyle McGonaghy wrote and directed, and the film stars Sterling Macer Jr., John Fleck, Mickey Jackson, Susan Perver, Sean Heyman, Thomas Boykin, and Micah Fitzgerald. The synopsis: an ominous help note finds its way to a 1980s post office, connecting a dead letter investigator to a kidnapped keyboard technician. All right, so this one is streaming on Shudder. If you guys haven't already seen it, you can check it out there. But why don't we dive in and start talking about this one? MZ, why don't you go ahead and give your first impression?
Okay, well, I was on the verge of watching this thing about maybe 3 weeks ago, and then I just had something else to do, and I never got around to doing it. So I never saw a single frame of this movie. And I do say frame because this sucker looks like it was shot on film, and I don't know that for sure. But man, this looks like it was shot on film. And if not,
yeah, it does.
If not, it's a very believable assimilation. I haven't heard too much about this. I don't know what the public opinion of this film is, so I was really in the dark about it. I had no idea what it was about. But upon the first 10 seconds of this movie, I felt like I'm going to be watching something pretty different just based on the way it looks, because it looks awesome. When I picture filmmakers today trying to relive the 1980s, it's always done with a high gloss, a high sheen. Everything is tip-top, sparkling color, and vibrant and loud and in your face, and all this other stuff that filmmakers today feel that this is what the 80s represented. This film, just based on the way it looks, is exactly how I remember the 80s. It has there's a dark hue to it. There's no pink pastels. Now, it doesn't exactly say when during the 80s this is, because there is a difference between 1980 and 1989. There is an enormous difference in terms of style and fashion. I mean, big time. You can't figure that out now. I mean, can you tell? I mean, honestly, today, could you tell the difference between fashion from 2015 and 2025? I know I can.
Not really.
Yeah. But here you could tell, and just by looking at it, you could tell this is early 80s, maybe early mid 80s at the most.
Yeah.
But you
I
really
would
can't
agree.
pin down. You really can't pin down a year. And that's okay. That's irrelevant. But the overall look of this film, it just screams independent filmmaking. It's, like I said, it's dark. It's low in its tone. It's not superficial. It's not trying to be anything more than what it really is, or what they can afford to do, or what they want to do. there's grain, there's grit, you know, there's it's not shiny, and in any glaring lights is really toned down by the grain that's in the film. It looks fantastic. It looks exactly like I would expect an independent film to look like if it was made in the early 1980s. Exactly. Now, I'm not saying that they're doping it up with scratch marks and static lines and things like that. They're not doing that. They're not. This isn't like some kind of grindhouse film. It's not. But they're treating the material and the way this film looks with the utmost respect, and I love that. They're not turning it into a gimmick. I hate using that word, but it's the truth. They're not using this as a gimmick. It's the soul of the film, and I love what they did as far as the way the film looks. And
Yeah.
that's it for now.
All right. Yeah, I'll agree that this is a very different sort of film, and it's clearly a very low budget independent film, but it was treated with a lot of care, and I feel like the filmmakers really got every ounce out of this. They got every penny is on the screen. They got every ounce of talent into this film, and it is such a kind of like an oddity, because it does feel like this could have been an 80s film. You know, if someone had, if I didn't know much about film and someone had said, "Oh, this film's from the 80s," I might be like, "Okay, cool." Like, yeah, it totally feels that way. The funny thing is about it, there's some really interesting concepts, but I didn't know. It's funny when looking at the poster, I noticed that there was like keys underneath the hands. I thought that was just like a piano, and it just so happened to be like in the picture someone is like, sitting at a piano or something like that. I didn't know that synthesizers had such a big part in this film before watching it, which to me I thought was added this other really interesting aspect of it. And the whole idea of trying to capture like the woodwind sound of, in a synthesizer. And in this day, this is sort of like, this is almost like a land rush for certain people. People were trying to trailblaze this path of finding a way to mimic an instrument through a synthesizer. And not a lot of people had been successful. So that's where this comes into play. And it's so funny because I don't know, it's just I never would have imagined a film like this. Like I never if I was making a horror movie and I, started off with like a dead male sort of office, I never would have thought to have two guys trying to create the perfect like woodwind sound for a synthesizer. It's just so funny. It's so nerdy and geeky, but there is something like this film. There's something so analog about this film, and I mean that in like the nicest possible way. Everything about this, I loved. I forget the guy's name. Was it? Let me see. Was it Canute? Was that the guy? And I'm talking about the friend that that Jasper had when he would call and get information about addresses and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah.
Was that Renee or like Canute? That. Oh, you know what?
Renee.
Yeah, it was Renee. Okay. Played by Nick Heyman. And I love that character. Like, it's because that's totally, like, I don't know. It just seems so evocative whenever they cut to that, his workbench or whatever, his office area. I just thought all that shit was so cool. And they made this character of Jasper seem like such a fucking rock star. like they all like, oh, that's him. Like the people in his own office like look at him like he's a fucking rock star. And there was some really odd sort of genius about the way that he worked. And I got to say, like this is in a way, it's a nitpick. I was so interested in that character. I wanted more with him, you know? I'm not going to say too much about his story arc, but I feel like he was underutilized. And I was like, oh man, like I feel like that's a super interesting character. And they built it up that in a way that was really just had me like captivated by that character, you know?
Yeah, the film has an element of two movies that I noticed. Psycho and Misery.
Yep.
It's those are the two films that I saw that came to my mind when I was watching this. And I mean even before the film, before the story, I mean to say, actually begins, you get this sensation of 80s with the titles, not the title screen, but the production screen, which has a very 80s-esque vibe to it, as well as the warning, the depictions. There are depictions of such and such, such and such, kidnapping and torture and whatever the hell, and that may not be suitable for younger viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Yeah.
But just the way that looked.
It felt dangerous, right? When you're watching it?
Huh?
It felt dangerous, right?
It did. It did, because of the way it looked, which is what made it so much more dangerous back then.
Yeah.
Because of the way it looked. Now, because of the high gloss 4K, ultra high definition 80-inch TV screen, in your face motherfucker visuals that hit you in the eyeballs. All that tension, all that intensity is gone. It's lost. In this film, they brought it back.
Yep. Yeah, I would totally agree with that. So I do want to get Ravenshout's first impression when he comes back. He had to take Ollie out for a walk, but so I don't want to go on too much, but it's such a well, let me talk a little bit about the character of Trent, played by John Fleck. I thought he was a super interesting character, and it's like his previous, like he had like a previous business relationship or something like that didn't go right, and that sort of influenced the way that this business relationship went. But like, part of me wants to know how the fuck did he get to this point, right? Like, what happened to make him be like this, and that's always kind of an interesting thing, because we don't see what happened previous to this. So, but it makes me curious, like, how did this character get to the point where this is what he had to do, what made that character do that? And it just makes it really interesting to sort of think about the psyche of this character of Trent and what he did. At his core, like, I feel like he was a very passionate guy, and I think he meant well, but he couldn't take rejection, right? Like, it's like to like the nth degree. I can't hear you, MZ. I think you're muted.
I agree. I think this is the part where he starts possibly having like chafed memories about going into business with other people, and just having the opposite end not follow through. This is a guy who's willing to give the shirt off his back to help assist make the other guy's dream come true.
Yeah.
And then just all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
But I think the characters in this film are really, really well played out. There is a part where I feel like it I don't know, it feels like it rushes a little bit. And that's towards the end where the two girls start kicking things into gear. But Trent is a very interesting character. Jasper, I think I agree with you on that. I think Jasper, who is a really cool character,
Yeah.
he's really awesome and just as a character alone, but also what he does. He's really good at it. He's really good at it. He's believable.
Definitely.
And then that's the thing. I mean, the way, like I keep going back to the way this is shot, and you look at a film like this and you believe everybody. Everything feels so matter of fact, It's just another day on the job, and the way it's delivered, it just looks so good and it sounds so good, and the characters are believable. I haven't seen a film like this. I think the closest that we ever got to was maybe Beyond the Black Rainbow. Where in terms of the way it looks and the way it's acted and the sound, and it's just really, really it's really, really unusual for this time, for in this era, in 2025, for a film to look like this.
Yeah. Rimshaw, how about you? First impression for Dead Male.
And sorry, I had to take Ollie out.
Very good.
So first impression, like the cold open, if you will, and it had the warning. I'm like, oh, it had really kind of grainy footage. And my first thought is, this is gonna fucking go in. Like, is this some fucking like Texas Chainsaw kind of fucking really getting fucking weird, especially the opening sequence. And I'm sure it was mentioned before, and actually we even talked about pretty people in horror films. Not to body shame anyone, but everyone in this movie was very real. There wasn't your CW cast. It wasn't like, I know who you roofied last summer, type fucking movie. It was fucking real people doing real things. And I was into that. And the strange quirkiness of the characters I liked, and some of the gimmicks, if you will, the associations between. I love the character of Jasper, and his radio friend. I love that. So I was really into this movie until I wasn't, and I'll leave it at there.
Dun dun dun.
Now I gotta ask, what did you guys? Never mind about the character, but I'm going to talk about the appearance of the character. How about I can't remember his name, the guy with the ponytail from hell,
right? It was what was going on there? What?
I don't know, man, but I'm telling you, if that fucker is real, I don't think it is, but if that's real,
I think his name was.
more power
I think his name was Brooks, right? Do you guys?
Brooks?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah. So if it was, the actor's name is Sean Heyman.
Okay. His name is Sean Heyman.
Yeah.
My name is Sean Heyman.
My name is Sean Heyman.
I'm the advocate for the USPS.
Yeah, what a ponytail, huh? Holy
I'm
shit.
struggling because there's part of me like, that's a fucking fake ponytail. But then I'm like, no, it might be real.
No, I'm pretty sure it's fake. I mean, the actor, at least in his headshot, has a normal haircut. So, I mean,
But what
so
a weird
that's gotta be
choice.
fake.
What a weird.
It is.
yeah, but I
is.
mean,
I
it's
don't
it's
understand the point
apropos.
of it.
You've seen people with fucking.
Is it?
Oh yeah, like
Is it?
you guys have
I
seen
don't
people
think
with
so.
mullets like that, right?
Not like that.
Back in the day, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, I've never seen anybody with a mullet like that. That's a mullet from hell.
But it's like it was like tied back
Right.
with more hair. Like I didn't know what tied it back.
An elastic.
You know, no, it looked like I don't know. I mean,
Scrunchy?
I've worn elastics. I've worn scrunchy. I've been wearing a headband lately.
It was an amazing.
It was something.
You guys fucking going nuts over this fucking hairdo.
Well, come on. I mean, but I also really enjoy because I didn't expect it to go non-linear. I wasn't expecting.
Yeah,
that.
same. I didn't either, and it kind of threw me off. And I was kind of like, what? Okay, why are we doing this at first? But then but then I was into it, and then I kind of forgot that it was doing it, and then it came back around, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. So it was a little jarring at first, but after that, it was like, okay, well, I totally get it, and I understand why they did that.
I remember watching it with Mary, and I was like, what the fuck's going on? I'm like, it's a flashback. She's like, it's a long fucking flashback. Like, what was that movie that had a flashback within a flashback?
Oh
We
god,
did years ago.
Oh,
It might have been like
it was
an
oh wait,
Indian-
yeah, Abhay. I think.
Abhay.
I think.
Abhay took fucking
Flashback with a
Abhay.
flashback.
That's with Ome and Ari Lay and Curly Q. But yeah, I really enjoyed the non-linear style of this film. Not that it's original, it sure as hell isn't. But in the texture of this kind of film, with the way the film looks, I mean, I expected like really simple storytelling and really simple characters, and because of the way the film looks, you figure it's just people just trying to eke out a film. And then when I realized what I'm seeing here is non-linear, I'm like, okay, the people who made this movie are a hell of a lot smarter than I gave them credit for at first, because I didn't expect it, and then when it did come around and it turns out, this is all non-linear, and it breaks up that non-linear because it goes non-linear to catching up to the actual story, then it gets non-linear again. So it's really messing with you, but it's easy to follow because now you know who the characters are, where they stand, what their situation is, and what possibly is going to happen to them later on. It's such an interesting tale because of the whole synthesizer thing. I thought that was so unusual because look, I know nothing about music. Okay, I only know what I like, and I don't know, Wolfie. The way you were talking about it, you was making it sound like there's something more involved with the synthesizers than just a mere synthesizer salesman wanting his dream to come true, and he comes across this guy who is willing to give him what he wants, but he also, as you said before, doesn't take rejection very well. But and that's what it is. But the way you described it, it sounded like there was a little bit more to it than that.
Well, I wouldn't say that I'm a historian of the synthesizer. I mean, the synthesizer has been around since late 60s, early 70s. And actually, let me see when the first,
I think Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
Yeah. Okay. So the Moog, which is the first synth, was created in 1964 by Robert Moog, and it didn't really catch on until a little bit later. But in terms of in terms of like getting realistic sounds for instruments, I mean that's not something I have knowledge of, but I know it's always been something that only until recently, like would last 15 years, I would say that the synthesizers started to sound more like the real thing, to the point where sometimes it's a little difficult to tell. But so in the 80s, I'm guessing, yeah, there was probably a lot of need for people to find synthesizer sounds that sound realistic. So, I mean, that it made sense to me. I don't know. I didn't check the accuracy of, woodwinds. Was there a good woodwind sound in the 80s for synths? There were woodwinds, but I don't know if they were good. So yeah, it's one of those things that's probably a little ambiguous, anyways. That is difficult to fact check and see, like, was there good sounds in this time? But yeah, I found it interesting, and just seeing him work with a soldering iron and all those, like, all the little bits and bobs that he had, and how he was like trying to get the best parts and the best equipment and all that just to make the best sounds. So yeah, it's interesting. It's very detailed and kind of nerdy, and I feel like it didn't necessarily need that. So I wonder if the directors, the writers and directors, were just really into that and they wanted to include that that amount of detail. But yeah, it's it's really nerdy, I think, and I feel it's a little unnecessary. But for me, I thought it worked.
Okay, well, I'm going to bring up Tiny White again because he would really be able to give us the lowdown on what's fact and what's fiction about when it comes to something like this. But I mean, this is where I think the misery part of it plays in, because I mean, you just watch Misery and you watch this film and you see so many parallels, especially during the meat of the film, the center of the film. There's so many parallels involved. So I think, I think Misery is a very strong influence in this film. I also noticed a little bit of Argento too, in terms of extreme close-ups on the most mundane things: a set of keys, a pen,
Yeah, true.
a doorknob,
A
the
lot of
soldering
times,
iron.
yeah, a lot of times they were foreshadowing, But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, yeah, and it looked good because you don't expect it. That's the thing, There's so much in this movie that I just completely did not expect, simply because of the way the film looked. And it has that 80s mentality, but it's got that modern day sense of filmmaking, where you want to add in as much as you possibly can. And it's like you said, Wolfie, I think they threw in everything into this movie. Every penny went into this movie. I believe that. I believe that it looks great and it sounds great, and
Yeah, you had sort of alluded to this earlier, or you pretty much said, but it feels very grimy, and it has that feel of like an 80s film, like an 80s horror, because it feels dirty and grimy and dangerous. Just the way it was filmed and the way it looks, like, I don't know I don't know if it's just because it looked like an 80s, sort of an 80s aesthetic in the guy's house, in Trent's house, but yeah, I think it had that look and feel to it for sure.
yeah, I mean, even the exterior shots where you see the city and the towns, and there's one specific shot where you could see the camera is at an angle in the city or the town, whatever, looking down the street, and it's loaded with cars from the 80s or 70s. There's nothing modern. There's nothing that looks modern in this film at all. Even by accident, there's just nothing in here that looks recent. It
Yeah.
looks all genuinely from the 70s or 80s. It the the genuine feel of this film is absolutely fantastic. And I think it's even better than Beyond the Black Rainbow. I think it pulls it off better. I think this is a more successful recreation of 1980s sensibilities and 1980s just overall aesthetic better than Beyond the Black Rainbow. And Beyond the Black Rainbow is off the charts. I think this film beats it.
Wow. Yeah, that's high praise because I know how you feel about that movie, and I love that movie as well. So, yeah, and it's a very simple premise. It's obviously we have there's a keyboard technician, a synthesizer technician who is in a way, I guess, kidnapped, and he finds a way to sneak out, and there's a mailbox like a USPS, like blue big mailbox, not like personal mailbox. It's one of the drop boxes that you would people come pick up mail from, and so he goes out there. He like tears a little off of a tissue box, I think it was, and writes a quick note to say that he's kidnapped, and goes to the mailbox, drops it in just as like the kidnapper is coming behind him, and he gets it off. But then the kidnapper is trying to open up the mailbox, and he can't. He's using like a crowbar, and he can't do it. And then he goes into the house to find something else, and when he comes out, he sees the mail truck leaving. So,
And to be fair, that's a federal offense.
oh yeah, of course.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
Raven Shadow, telling everyone out there to, saving everyone just in case they tamper with a mailbox.
Just saying, don't throw buckets in the fucking trash either. That's a fucking $100 fine, motherfuckers. Just saying.
And inside the kidnapper's house, I mean, just the way it looks, especially the basement, where it's just all dark except for like one red light, and just the way that light shines off of the skin, it just, I mean, I think in my mind, and I close my eyes, and I'm doing it right now as we talk, and I close my eyes and I think about what my dreams look like.
Oh fuck!
Oh God!
Please
don't describe them.
No.
Yeah, don't stop thinking about that.
And like, oh, my dreams, yeah.
Oh, it's fucking Grimlock and fucking Greasy Strangler. What the fuck?
No. And when I think back in my dreams, regardless of what they're about, shut up. They have this appearance to them where it's dark and there's shades of there's slivers of light and things like that. It's so close to something like this, especially the basement scene. It's just very reminiscent of that to me. This movie really, and no pun intended, this really struck a chord with me. Okay. I wasn't trying to make a pun, believe me. Revenge of the Simps. There's a pun for you.
What was it again?
There you go.
Revenge of the Simps.
I like that. Yeah.
But the guy, what's his name? Bob? Is that his name? The guy who gets kidnapped?
No, Josh.
Josh. He seems to be an affable guy, a nice guy. Maybe a little naive.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
But I mean, that's only because he wants to see his pet project, take off. Then he gets some news that could very well further his career, and some people aren't taking a liking to that too much. And next thing you know, he is held against his will.
Yeah, one character aspect of Josh I thought was interesting. This was something that was pretty prevalent, I'd say, is sort of an interest in Japan. And, whether it's video games or wrestling or whatever, like, I feel like Japan was like this really like interesting place. Was that Raven Shadow?
Like a boom at that
Yeah,
time
yeah.
in the 80s, like technology and
Oh yeah. I mean, technology, absolutely. I mean, that's a big pull for it. But yeah, and so I just thought that was kind of a neat little thing that like Josh spoke Japanese, like he was kind of seemed to be infatuated with the culture. So I thought that was like an actually like a good little 80s sort of bit of info there, or a bit of character info.
And that was the thing, and I know, and forgive me, I know I had to take Ollie out, and I may have missed some of the stuff you said. I liked the world that we were brought into. I liked the characters, particularly Jasper, and who was kind of his girl Friday.
Yeah, forget her name.
The one that helped fix his printer.
Yep. Anne.
I loved her. I loved his European connection. His
Yeah, Renee.
European Oracle.
Yeah.
Renee. Like I want that movie.
I know.
Like
I would legit watch a series of dead letter and detectives with what was his name, Jasper,
Renee.
and then he'd occasionally call Renee or something like that. Renee might not be a full cast member, but he would be there whenever he needs him. I think that would be fucking awesome. I would love that.
Oh yeah, because he'd be like Hawk in not only Spencer for Hire, but also the Buck Rogers TV show. Like your boy, like you call him in. I love that he worked in a fucking eyeglass store and was a fucking detective. Whatever. I love that shit.
Yeah.
I love how majority of the cast was in the probably 40s. I've not seen a lot of exposure to male housing, sleeping on bunk beds.
Yeah, that was. Let me see. I read something about that because I was actually curious. Let me look it up here. Sorry. Because it was what do they call them? Like a group home for men.
Yeah. Almost like the Susan B. Anthony Hotel from Bosom Buddies. That was a hotel for women.
Bosom Buddies. Yep.
But for men who were fucked up and lost, pretty much. Like this is like on the downward spiral of you're probably fucked up in life where you got to live in a boarding fucking house. But that was like fascinating. I'm like, oh wow, it's fucking interesting. And I think Jasper has a fucking prequel series that got him to this point.
Yeah. Yeah, so it says, group home for men is a structured living environment where a small group of men, typically those with disabilities or special needs, live together in a shared home. It provides a home-like setting with support and supervision, helping residents with daily living tasks, medication management, and other needs. So, but there's a reason why Jasper was living there, right? Like, and that's something we don't know because he was like a fucking rock star in that post office,
Yeah. And I was like, oh, your friend, the secret agent. No, that's just a rumor. What the fuck?
Yeah. And I love how fucking rigid that the guy with the fucking ponytail was. Like, no, you can't do it. Like, you got to leave. Like, it's time to leave. Or like, he just was so fucking rigid.
And that's legit. Like, he's like, this fucking rule. There's all kinds of rules with USPS. Like, they're a dude. Like, you got to fucking like. I know some cats, and it's very mafia like
That's
legit.
funny.
Like if you join that, like it's basically like don't you're in the family. You know what I mean? And there are cats that are looking for you to make sure that you fucking turn your fucking wheels a certain way, and it's fucked up what they gotta fucking do, man. Um, but where are we going with that? But so I liked a lot of that. My struggle, my struggle came with the violence.
Okay. How come?
It's been said before, and I think it's real. It is really, not that I know, but from my understanding, from what they tell me, um, it is really hard to kill somebody. You know what I mean? And I get it. This is not a fucking large budget film, and they do a lot of what they have. They have some great set pieces, great characters, and good ideas. But when it comes to the violence, there is definitely a level for me where I was very frustrated in the give up factor and the not fighting back factor. That that was my Charles Durning point. And I'm trying to be vague, but do you guys know what I'm saying?
Well, I assume you're talking about the character who's kidnapped, not fighting back.
Not even him, but that ponytail. Um, like it just seemed. And listen, I'm not the most masculine man in the world, but I would fight everybody in this movie except the guy with the ponytail.
You know, it's
'Cause
funny. I kind
he
of
went
felt that
in.
way. I kind of felt that way a little bit myself when the attack in the back took place,
Right?
because the guy who's the antagonist of this whole film, he gets injured in what I would consider to be a pretty serious injury, to the point where and we do see the injury, but the internal aspect of it was kind of like forgotten about.
Right, the
Uh,
internal and the external seemed like a bruise.
yeah, but yeah, I agree. It seemed like a bad bruise, and the internal should have been far more severe. I mean, we don't know how deep he went. The guy went in, but with the weapon, but there had to have been some sort of muscular damage done, and it looks like there wasn't any, at least none that I could tell.
Right.
So I know where I get what you get. I know what you're getting at, and I agree. And you know what? It's weird. Even though it bothered me, I kind of felt I kind of overlooked it. I
Okay.
I'm not exactly certain why, because that is
Yeah.
something that should play a part into this film going forward, but it doesn't. You know, not at all. Really, we get to see him treating the wound.
Yep.
But that was pretty much it. Uh, treating the wound on the exterior, on the skin. Never mind about what's going on, underneath, muscular or
Right.
skeletal, or any nerve damage or anything like that. That was never brought up. So, I mean, I get you, and you're right, but at the same time, it's like it didn't even bother me that they didn't even play that up anymore.
You were like just caught up in
I was caught
the
up in just everything else because I just thought the characters was just so interesting. The story was interesting. The way this move, I keep going back, and I sound like a broken record. I just love the way this film looks. I love it. I love it.
It was grainy. Now, this wasn't film, right? Was this digital? But it looked like it was fucking grainy.
I
like a
want to say I
motherfucker.
want to say it was film,
I'm
but
guessing with the budget, it was digital, but I'm actually trying to find out. So I'll continue to search and see if I can find out.
Yeah, but it looked like, that's why I was like, this is gonna be fucking sleazy. I was even talking to Mary. I'm like, we can shut this off at any time. 'Cause I thought it was gonna get fucking like, it was gonna go in.
Yeah. I mean, even though like the way the scenes looked like this, it's full of light. It's still very, very dark.
Yeah.
And I always felt that way when it came to like filmmaking from like the 1970s into the early 1980s. That even when you watch a film from that era, even if it's complete daylight out, there's still like a dark hue surrounding the frame, surrounding the scene. It just looks dark, even if it's middle of the day. There's something
Yeah, I
about it that
agree.
still looks dark, and I love that. I love that so much because it just gives an ominous tone to the film, and that's the way it is in comedies and kids films and all those others. But when it's done in horror, it's brooding. It is just terrifying.
So I found, let's see, it's a review, so this isn't like confirmed, but in the review, the person who, let's see, it's John Fink from the Film Stage says, blending found footage and what appears to be grainy 16 millimeter, they shot the film on an early DV, as a matter of fact. And I did read that they shot it on a very early version of like a digital camcorder. So,
Oh, okay.
one of the early ones, so it was still digital, but so it wasn't shot on film, but it was done that way to give it sort of an older feel, I guess.
Yeah.
Very
So
smart.
so it says Kyle McGonaghy and Joe DeBower's Dead Male embraces the creepiness of its concept. And then it says, like Jane Schoenbraun's I Saw the TV Glow or Kyle Edward Ball's Skinamarink, this is the stuff of subconscious nightmares. Though was Skinamarink, is that what caused that reaction?
I fucking hate
I know.
Skinamarink, dude. I know.
It says, though Dead Male falls slightly more into the slasher camp, the film is effectively creepy from the feeling that it's a relic of the past. Also, like Schoenbrun's film, it suggests a story that could have been imagined from a 2020 segment or a late night documentary that a child should not have watched after their bedtime, but nevertheless did. Yeah, that's actually it's a good way of putting it, because this movie was framed like a true story. I never got the feeling that it was like a found footage, because it's not. It's a movie, but
it's not found footage at all.
No. So what the author was saying was blending found footage, and what appears to be grainy. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the found footage thing he's talking about. Maybe because they use some cameras from like security cameras, right? Didn't they do that in the post office or something? Or am I misremembering?
No, I don't recall it. I don't recall.
Okay.
It could be because it could be because it's possibly cinema verite, where the camera is not square on the object in front of it, but it's tilting. It's angles up, angles down. It's tilting left, tilting right at different angles and things like that. So I think that's probably what he's referring to.
Okay.
Moving cameras, the camera's moving with the actor or actress, coming towards the camera and things like that.
I have another struggle with some of the kidnapping sequences and where a certain character was placed as the film progressed. And I'm going to say it, like, if you're chained up in a fucking bathroom and your chains are tied to a fucking stand-up sink, which I have in my small bathroom, that's not a trap. You could fucking I could fucking kick my fucking porcelain fucking standing thing up.
Spoiler alert.
But like Josh is a big fucking guy. Like
But he
might not
he finds a way later. You're saying, see, you've been doing
But
it.
it
You've been
was
doing
so
this a
out of-
lot. You've been doing this a lot. You
But
you
Wolfie-
like I wouldn't do that. Like it's the movie that they're telling, that they wrote it. You have to suspend disbelief to a certain point.
But you can't though in that scene you cannot.
I
cannot.
could.
You're
You're
out of
saying
your
you
fucking-
cannot.
Wolfie,
I'm out
all
of my
right,
mind.
if I-
Okay,
if
I'm
I-
out of my mind.
if I chain you to my bathroom,
Oh,
Jesus Christ! we talking about Skinamax now? Skinamarink
come
Max?
over. You know my bathroom, dude. Like
I've never looked at
you're
your
a big-
pipes.
but you're a big fucking guy. You know what I mean? Like you could pull that. You know what I would do? I would fucking kick the fucking toilet so the water comes down. It's so stupid.
So then you'd weigh 142 pounds soaking wet.
It takes you out of it.
It doesn't.
man.
It doesn't.
Like,
it doesn't to me.
then- okay.
It depends on the viewer. I mean, MZ, did it take you out of it?
No.
So I mean, I'm just saying that's 2 out of 3. Like, not
All
saying you're watching it wrong. That's what you thought, and that's okay. It's subjective. It didn't work for you, and you got pissed that the dude couldn't get out of it. But for me, it worked. Like some of those pipes are like pretty fucking like hefty, man. Like if that's
No,
screwed
they are
on,
not.
yes, they are. If that's screwed on well, and everything, like yeah, that's 80s fucking construction.
Yeah.
Wait, this house was built in 1965.
All right,
I
go.
have the same standing fucking.
Okay, go
fucking
chain yourself
thing.
to it, and then tell us how long it takes to
Dude.
get out.
Dude, I could literally fucking kick it in my fucking Chuck Taylors, and it would fucking come off.
All
Like,
right, go do that.
like no, because I'm not gonna fucking pay for it. I paid $5,000 for a
I
fucking
would-
oil tank.
I'll tell you, I would pay to see something like that. I would love to see
But
you
it's-
versus a toilet. That would be fun.
Raven Shadow versus the toilet.
Are we going to Taco Bell? No, but like,
But
like-
also
like,
remember.
it's like you're in trouble. Stay there. Okay, I'm in trouble.
But also remember.
I'm a kidnap
remember,
victim.
although I do have to say, with the way it was shot, with the way with the way it was shot and the way it was edited, there were scenes of the close-up of the pipe that goes into the wall enough times to indicate that Josh saw a weak point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
To
I don't want to
that-
spoil
that-
too much, but what you're saying eventually isn't something that should bother you. You know, like
No, it doesn't bother me.
no, not you, not you.
It-
I'm saying like Raven Shadow.
oh,
Like
oh.
eventually, the thing that bothered him eventually works out, if you will.
I guess. And why can he stand in sometimes, and then sometimes he's crawling like Professor X? You know what I mean? When he lost his wheelchair, like he's literally standing in certain scenes, and then all
Are you
of a
talking
sudden
about when he
he's
was in the
crawling.
basement or bathroom?
No, from the bathroom to another room.
He never stood in the bathroom.
Yes, he did.
No.
He did. He did. Watch it again.
I am.
Because
I'm watching it
theoretically,
right now.
because theoretically, you watch Ren and Stimpy. Like on one hand, it makes sense. And why was he so fucking thirsty? The motherfucker's got fucking water from the sink.
Do you want? I don't know where they
Oh.
were. They're in the Midwest. Maybe maybe the water's not good there.
The water is not flowing.
No, well, please.
In the 80s,
please.
the water was flowing. He had a fucking shower.
Oh my
but
god,
he was-
this is ridiculous.
But dude, but it's fucking stupid though.
It's not
It
stupid.
became-
It's a fucking
It's
movie.
totally stupid. It's stupid. It's dumb.
Oh my god.
It's dumb. Wolfie, you could get out of my bathroom. MC, you could get out of my bathroom if I fucking chain you to it. Okay, no, it's. I guess I'll just be kidnapped then. Fucking Josh is like 6'3", and he's fucking okay.
Josh isn't 6'3". What are you
He's
talking
not
about?
6'3". He's an average-sized guy.
Next, Josh is going to be fucking 6'8", 300 pounds.
Josh is 375 pounds.
Now I'm watching it now, and yes, he is standing up.
Thank you.
But you know what? I don't know.
Oh, who's the goose now?
Man, all right.
He could have just shut off. He very well could have had just the water shut off in the bathroom.
Nah, I doubt that because something that happens later. But I mean, when you're a prisoner, like what, like, and if you're also sort of scared of your captor, what do you like? I think that has a lot to do with it, right? And especially given their relationship early on, maybe he thinks like, oh well, things are just a little weird right now, and this dude's being a fucking psycho. Maybe he'll come to his senses, you know? I don't know. We're gonna ask Josh. Let's get Josh on the horn.
The new Jason Voorhees is more of a fucking physical presence than this fucking guy was. I'll tell you that much. Call back to last week.
Yeah, of course he's not intimidating looking, but that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything.
Trent's a fucking tough guy.
Was Jeffrey Dahmer intimidating looking?
Well, he fucking drugs you. If he fucking drugged me, that's one thing.
How do we know he didn't drug Josh? He was making his food.
We gave him moldy food. It just for me, and I think anybody that would watch this, it
Except
unravels. Except you two fucking guys. I love you guys so much, but I don't know. That's when I got out of it because I had so much great. All right, well, okay, all right. I guess I'll just be a kidnapped victim then.
All right. If that's what you're into, that's your kink.
Well, no, but like that's like, I don't know. Okay. I guess I'll just. On one hand, it makes sense. Because you got a bathroom right there. The guy can go to the bathroom, and he can get some water, and he can throw some bread in every couple of days. But as a homeowner, if you fucking if you're kicking a fucking toilet and there's water coming down, that's a fucking problem.
As a homeowner.
You know what I mean? Like,
let me just say, even though we didn't get enough of our boy Jasper, I feel like I like the spirit of Jasper that lived on through Anne. And I actually love that some of the scenes with Anne later on when she's trying to do her best Jasper, you know?
Yes.
I thought it was really smart the way she was going about it, of like asking of like sort of her opening line, so to speak, while she was trying to look for the person, right? You know,
Yep.
I thought a lot of that stuff was really cool. And yeah, I feel like this is a super interesting world where it's so mundane. It's interesting in in how mundane it is. And that's why I feel like someone like Jasper feels like a fucking rock star, because this is like, it's almost like Joe versus the volcano, like his office that he worked in, you know, like that fucking vibe. It's just so boring and like fluorescent lights and, you know, but him like walking around like a fucking rock star. Like, I just feel like it has such a cool vibe to it. And, I don't know, I would have liked to have captured more of that. And like Renee was fucking awesome too. Like that argument Renee was having with the guy at this fucking shop earlier. I thought that was fucking hilarious. Yeah.
Come back here. I'll have to fucking fix it. Why is it on his eyes? Because it's fucking glue. You fucking wanker.
Yeah, he's like, he puts adhesive on it. How do you know?
Yeah.
That shit was funny,
Like-
man.
Yeah, a lot of talk about adhesives in this movie too.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, it was actually. It's true. The glue that holds the film together.
Pretty much.
All right. Score. I love the score, man. That was great.
The score was really, really good, mixing new stuff with classical music.
And the Westminster pipe organ, I thought was super cool that Trent kept listening to.
Yeah. I got a real kick out of the score. I loved it.
Oh, well, Raven Shadow, looks like you got some support, although I'm not too surprised. Marion says, I agree with Raven Shadow. Dumb movie is dumb. A couple characters just gave up too easily.
Right. Like, I'm just going to be kidnapped then. Oh.
You know what, Raven Shadow?
Oh.
You should write a movie, and then you can do it your way.
It doesn't have to write the fucking, like, it's just fucking, like, heck, I'm dead.
What?
Like, come on, dude. Like, they did so much well. It's like, okay, I guess I'm just kidnapped. I guess I'm just stuck here. Okay.
Well, Raven Shadow's got more fight in him than Josh did.
I fucking do. I fucking do. I fought that fucking SpaghettiOs fucking can more than fucking Josh did trying to fucking save his life.
I would actually love, like, this would be premium content to chain Raven Shadow to a fucking sink pipe and see how long it takes.
Not my sink pipe. But
like chain, not fucking rope, chained.
No, but not like I'm not tied to it.
What about the adhesive that he used on his arm? That was fucking hardcore.
But still, also too, okay.
Oh my God.
I've you have to still, it's not like it's a fucking all right. Okay. Listen. I tried to fix statues. You gotta hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. You cut the fucking minutes and you let go.
So Josh was knocked out at the time that he stuck his arm and put the adhesive on.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. And Josh probably could have taken his arm off. However, it definitely would have ripped some of his skin off. And maybe he didn't want to do that.
Okay, so you're stuck in a fucking, you know what I mean? You fucking bite your own fucking arm off to fucking survive.
You're going to bite your arm off. You would do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking right.
Yeah.
You would need a knife and a fork, though, MZ.
I can picture that.
He's like,
oh,
to using a knife and a fork and cut his fucking arm off and eat it.
You know what I would do? With my other hand, I would reach the fucking shower to get the fucking water to come down, and I get probably some fucking soap in the shower, and I would lube that shit up, turn it sideways. You know what I mean?
All right. Anything else you guys want to bring up before we head to the verdict on this?
No, I'm done, man.
All right.
Trick or treat, baby.
I wonder if people would say you're a trick or a treat.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
All right. It is verdict time. We're going to let you know whether Dead Male was a trick or a treat. And any final thoughts? Let's start with MZ.
Yeah, I was really surprised with how well everything pretty much turned out in this film. There is so much to like here. I think the characters are good. I think the setting is good. I think the way it's shot is fantastic. The editing is decent. The score is really spot on. The violence is good, even though it's not a complete thing. I think there's still one aspect of the violence that I thought was lacking a little bit. But for the strangest reason, I just don't seem to care, because I just think the characters here are so interesting. They all look like they belong in this time. All of
Yes.
them. They all fit the narrative. They're a bunch of bland people,
Yep.
unexciting people just living a life, and it just so happens that one guy kidnaps another guy. So, you know, it's the story is well done. Uh, I'm just really taken aback by how well this turned out. And I mean, even the scene in the shower at the men's club, you got all these old guys with sagging skin. It just didn't seem to matter.
Yes.
There was a certain uh, genuine ambiance to this film.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this looks like it was straight out of the early '80s,
Yeah.
and it's almost perfect. I mean, the score is good, the acting is good, and it's I mean, it's good. It's good. This is good. This is a big treat for me. I love this film.
All right. Michael Ravenshadow.
So there are so many things about this film that I do like. And I think that's what's what I'm struggling with. Um, I love the world building. Love the way it's shot. I think it's a great thing. Like you put a help note in the box, in the mailbox. And to be fair, I believe that mailbox is too modern for its time period. But whatever the fuck. Now I'm not expecting Raid or John Wick or whatever the fuck fight sequences. I'm not expecting.
Imagine Jasper fucking pulling out two guns out of his fucking jacket.
I think he has a fucking past. Like this was like that one scene like in a Star Wars movie, and this is like a whole backstory of that character. Like Hawkins. You know what I mean? I'm not expecting some fucking crazy shit. I just wish they fucking struggled a little bit more than it's just like, okay, I guess I'm just getting strangled now. Oh, like stop it. Stop it. Oh, you got me. Like, I don't know. And that's what I can't overcome because I was so into the world. I was so into the characters. I thought the way the bad guy got his way into, you know what I mean, into the mix was very well done. He was creepy. But I just think it crumbled over its own mediocrity. So for all the things I love about it, for all the I want a prequel, dig characters. I would definitely buy a Jasper and Renee action figure. I still gotta say it's barely a trick because it's really hard to kill people. And if you're dying, you're gonna fucking flail around, you're gonna fight, you're gonna fucking do something and not just accept it. I'm sorry. Barely a trick. But I guess it's pretty cool that I guess I'll just be kidnapped then.
I guess so.
Well, if you do, you can prove your theory correct.
I don't know, man. Okay. All right. Trent's the big fucking bad guy. Look out, Art the Clown. Trent's gonna come get you.
All right. So let me see here. So for me, yeah, this is also a treat. I really dug it. I think that the aesthetic was spot on. I just liked how grimy and dirty and dangerous this movie felt, and that's not something that you see very often. And I think one other one that kind of, I'm not comparing them at all, but one other one that kind of had a similar sort of feel to it, although this I think was more authentic, but was The Black Phone. And I'm sorry, did you see that yet, MZ?
I have not.
Okay, I remember we did it on the
I've been
show
wanting to.
when you weren't on, so in no way am I comparing, that to this. They're two different films, but they do take place in the 80s, and one has, and there's like a basement involved, and a killer, and kidnapper, and griminess. So I think in a sense that that was the last one I can remember that kind of gave that feel, but this one I think really kind of took it to another level. And I like that they attempted to make it feel as authentic as they could. Shooting this on 16 millimeter, I think would have been awesome, but also would have been more expensive. There would have been more overhead. You would need to hire people who knew how to operate it and all that, and get the film and all that stuff. So it's just harder to work with. So I understand. I think they did a very good job of what they did, and I think they created a really cool atmosphere with a very unique story. This film felt very unique, and I love the idea of the dead letter office and Jasper. Like, this dude was like fucking awesome. Like, I wanted more of Jasper. When he found out, like when he found that necklace and found its home, and how happy the person was to know that they were going to get it back, that was fucking awesome. I love that. I probably could have watched a whole film of shit like that, but
Right.
I like what we got, and I like the character, and I feel like he was underutilized a bit. However, I think that the way they told the story, it made sense. And, I don't want to say too much about spoiler stuff, but yeah, the acting was good. Josh, played by Sterling Macer Jr., was really good. Trent was played by John Fleck, was really creepy and but also, like, when he had to be like play it straight and play it cool, like he seemed like a really nice guy. Like, he had that whole dynamic going. I loved Mickey Jackson as Anne, and also Susan Priver as Bess. Those two, like, I thought that was like super cute, and how they teamed up at the end. I thought that was great. So some great characters, very memorable characters. I'm going to remember like Renee for a while, because I thought that character was fucking awesome. And yeah, there's so many cool things in this, and just really well done, well executed, great score. I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes next from this directing duo, because this felt so unique and of its time. So if anyone out there likes 80s movies, especially, I wouldn't call it definitely not a slasher or a serial killer, definitely not, but like a kidnapper, someone like a true crime, I guess you could say. It has like a bit of a true crime feel to it. There's not a ton of gore. There is some, but I definitely think it's worth your while. It's available on Shudder, so give it a look. And all right, cool. So that's going to do it for our discussion of Dead Male. Check it out. It's on Shudder. And next week, we have a Patreon takeover. We are going to be joined by our boy, Carlitos.
Carlitos, fucking A, dude.
And Carlitos has picked, let's see. Oh, he's actually messaging me right now. Okay, so I know one of them. I think he's typing the other one. The one that we do know is a movie that just came out on Netflix not too long ago. It's from a very highly acclaimed director who we have really enjoyed his stuff. And I was curious about this one. I was hoping you fit it in, but we'd actually did a few non-horror films in a row, so I wanted to kind of steer clear of something that wasn't horror. But Carlitos always likes to bring the heavy-hitting action, and I'm glad that he's bringing this one. So we're going to be doing the film Havoc, directed by Gareth Evans, the director of the Raid films. Motherfucking Raid. And what else is Gareth has done? Apostle. That was a great one. Also a Netflix movie. And he did the series Gangs of London. And that's right. He did a segment in VHS 2, Safe Haven, which is still, for my money, the best segment in VHS history with Timo. And so Havoc, that's his new flick. And it's got a pretty star-studded cast. We got Tom Hardy. Let's see.
Oh, shit.
Timothy Oliphant.
My boy, dude.
Forrest Whitaker.
What?
Yep. Let's see. Just trying to see if I recognize anyone else in this.
Treat.
So we'll stop there. But yeah, so so Havoc. Oh, the other one, he picked another one, but we actually I think he's listening live. We actually have done that one, Carlitos. We did that one in Cram Jam. So let's I don't want to put Carlitos on the spot. We'll give him some time to pick his second movie, but we will do Havoc. That's going to be the first one. And then as soon as we find out the second film, I'll go ahead and put it up on Discord or something like that. But we'll be joined by Carlitos. We'll be doing 2 flicks, and one of them is Havoc. So there you have it.
Oh, I see what you did there.
And we'll find out what the next one is. Okay, so I don't think we have any voice messages. We've actually had a pretty good turnout for voice messages lately. And let me just make sure I didn't see a video review from Casual Noob. Just double checking.
Noob.
Nope. Okay, nothing from Casual Noob. Actually, let me see. Oh, we got a new subscriber message a few days ago. Our boy Jimmy Ma followed us on YouTube.
Shit.
From Taiwan.
Oh, baby, I like it more. Oh, baby, I like it more. I like Jimmy Ma.
Shimmy, shimmy, yeah, shimmy, yeah.
Shimmy, shimmy, yeah, Jimmy Ma, motherfucker. Put me on Facebook, bro.
Jesus Christ. Do they have Facebook in Taiwan, Raven Shadow?
Oh, yeah, they got everything over there.
Do they? He sounds like he's speaking from experience. All right, so I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. No more voice messages. Let me just check the chats, make sure I didn't miss anything in there. Yeah, I think we're good to clear. I think we're clear. We're good to clean things out. Clear things out. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about anymore. All right, so let's say goodbye. Starting with MC. MZ, can't hear you. Weird. Hold on. I think I lost these guys. One sec. You guys there? I don't know. Shoot. I think I lost them. Yeah. Lost audio for those guys. I'll try to get it back here. In the meantime, let's see. Let's try to think if there's anything else I can say as I try to get these guys back. So yeah, next week we will do Patreon takeover, and then I think we have a couple more spots for Patreon takeovers left. So if you guys want to get in on that, you can go ahead and check out patreon.com/trickortreatradio. And from there, you can join, and hopefully we have some slots left. You can get your own takeover if you want. So give that a look. And what else can I kill time with here? It's really weird doing a podcast of one. So Havoc, directed by Gareth Evans. I think it's been several years since we've done anything by Gareth Evans. And by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this, but it's on Netflix. So if you guys have Netflix, you can check out Havoc, and feel free to send a message to us. Let us know what you think. podcast@trickortreatradio.com. And yeah, for Gareth Evans, I believe the last film we did of his was Apostle, which was 2018. So wow, we're going like 7 years without a movie from Gareth Evans, which is crazy. So looking forward to checking this one out. I've heard some pretty good stuff so far. It's I don't think we should expect raid-like action. I think it'll be something raid light. It says gun fu in the subgenres, so maybe we'll get a little bit of gun fu in this. But yeah, it's got a great cast, and looking forward to seeing what he does with it. All right, give me 1 sec. I have to like literally lean across so I can't talk into my mic for a few seconds. All right. Entering the password and rebooting this computer, and I'll get these guys back so we can say goodbye. It's so weird. It happened last week, I think. Same exact fucking thing. All right, come on. But yeah, looking forward to hanging out with Carlitos. Always a blast to hang out with him. He's been around for a while and been a good friend of the show, big supporter. So looking forward to that. And can't wait to see what else he picks for his other film. He always brings it and picks some really great flicks. All right. Apologize about the dead air. Trying to get this thing up and running here. All this just to say goodbye. Nobody gives a fuck, I'm sure. If we have any Andor fans out there, we just did a Andor Season 2 wrap-up show on Force Insensitive. So you guys can check that out. We did a live show, and we had some friends of this show that joined us, including he's Darth Corny over there, but Evil Corny over here, and Double D. And yeah, we talked all about Season 2 of Andor. It was a good fun, and if you guys want to check that out, you can find it on pretty much anywhere you get podcasts. Just look for Force Insensitive, or you can go on the YouTube. It's also there. All right. Looks like MZ fucking left. Great. Just as I was reconnecting. And are we back, Raven Shadow?
We are back like a vertebrae.
Oh, man, what a fucking annoying thing. I can't believe he just ducked out literally as I was getting connected. But whatever, I get it. All right.
Like...
could you guys hear me?
we could to a point, and then we lost you. Like we
Okay,
heard you
okay.
struggling,
Yeah,
and then it stopped.
the second computer lost internet again. I don't know why. It's like hardwired. It's not Wi-Fi. It's like a cable. So I don't know what's going on with that. But anyways, it's a problem for another day. Anyways, that's gonna do it. So let's say our goodbyes, starting with MZ.
All right.
We return to douchebags. Tired. Is that good?
I gotta go.
I gotta go.
That was a pretty good impression.
Yeah, it was actually really bad. We could do better. I love how the MZ voice always begins with even though he doesn't do that all the time. He does it sometimes, but not all the time.
Well, why let fucking facts fuck up a good story or a joke?
Yeah, exactly. All right, Raven Shadow, why don't you take us out and say goodbye?
Allow me to do this. Live fast, love hard, and enjoy the guilt. We'll see you next week.
Live fast, love hard, and smash that pipe.
Dude, porcelain is so
No.
fragile.
But he was tied to a pipe. Never mind. We're not doing this. All right. All right, that's gonna do it. So thank you guys so much. Where is the fucking music? Oh my god.
No. My name is Bullet.
Why isn't
Not
I
that
don't know.
music.
Hold on. Let me check something
Give me a beat.
here. Give me a beat. Give me a beat.
Beat.
Break me off a piece of that.
End of show. Pretty good dude. Do.
Fligger-doo-doo.
Give me a beat. Give me a beat. Give me a flickety-doo-doo-doo.
Jesus.
Nobody's listening.
No. All right, let me try this again. Let's see if it works now.
All right.
All right, there we go. All right, I had to restart it.
There you go.
All
1,
right.
2, 3, 4.
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, that's going to do it. So thank you, everyone who tuned in and stuck around for the end of this bullshit. Episode 669, dude. All right, well, that's going to do it. So thanks for tuning in. Next week, we got a Patreon takeover with our boy Corlitos. And we're going to be doing the film Havoc, which is directed by Gareth Evans of The Raid fame. And it's on Netflix, so give it a look. Let us know what you think. Podcast at trickortreatradio.com. And we'll have another movie we'll announce during the week. But until then, I don't know. See ya. Bye.
Doctor's Bullets.